Chapter 2872. But even if most of them had fallen, there were still some who had survived until now. Could it be that there's really an existence at the Tao vessel realm standing behind these young men? Niemo couldn't help but think so, and a few drops of cold sweat flowed out of his forehead. A carrier realm expert was definitely an expert who had survived the ancient demon war. Even if he had suffered heavy injuries during the war and lost a lot of strength, it would be difficult for him to recover even after so many years. But just his realm alone was enough to crush all meditative forgetfulness experts. Even if all the meditative forgetfulness experts of the 33 heavens came out together, they wouldn't be enough to be killed by him. One must know that he had broken free from the shackles of the greater thousand worlds and achieved his own great Tao. How could he be judged by ordinary thinking? There was no need to doubt his strength. If that's really the case, then their background is absolutely frightening. Niemo couldn't help but think to himself, finding it hard to calm down. No matter what race it was, if there was a carrier realm expert left behind, they would definitely be a great race in the ancient times, and would be feared by the entire 33 heavens. And it was very likely that the people on the other side had such a background. But at this time, Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoyao, Little Xingxing, Long Ke, and the man who came later didn't pay attention to the experts of the Qian Su Jinghua heaven. They didn't care about the shock of these people at all. After a conversation, Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoyao knew that this man was called Long Su, the son of the dragon god, and Little Xingxing's second brother. The dragon god had a total of 3 children, Long Ke, Long Su, and Little Xingxing. Now, Long Ke and Long Su had both reached the 3rd stage of meditative forgetfulness, looking through the land of reincarnation. This time, they were instructed by their father to come here to protect their sister. This kind of situation caused Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoyao to be speechless. The 3rd stage of meditative forgetfulness. That was a peerless expert. In the entire 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds, there probably wouldn't be more than a handful of them. The descendants of the dragon god were indeed abnormal. Where's father and mother? I miss them so much. After talking for a while, Little Xingxing's eyes turned red again. He couldn't help but ask about his father and mother again. Sister, don't worry. When this is over, we'll take you to see father and mother. They miss you very much too. Long Su stroked Little Xingxing's head lovingly. Yes. Little Xingxing nodded, rubbed his red eyes, and said, but before that, I need to go back to Shenwu world with my old man and bring grandpa, grandma, and auntie to the 33 heavens. As she spoke, she looked at Du Xiaofu. After coming to this world for a few hundred years, Little Xingxing missed his family members back in Shenwu world dearly. After all, they were the family members who watched him grow up. They were no less important than his biological parents and older brothers. All right. Long Ke smiled, and very straightforwardly agreed. On the other side, the several 100,000 beastmen of the Qianshu Jinhua heaven have also had a good discussion. We can't let this drag on any longer. We have to get rid of these people as soon as possible. 2 third-level meditative realm powerhouses, delay 2 of them, then attack the other 3. Even if we let the others go, Du Xiaofu must die. We can't let him live. Get ready to attack. We can't wait any longer. The group of meditative realm powerhouses all spoke and voiced their thoughts. They had to kill Du Xiaofu. He once caused havoc in the Qianshu Jinhua heaven, humiliating countless beastmen. This grudge cannot be forgotten. Most importantly, the 2 lords of the demon race had mentioned that they wanted to kill him. This person must not be allowed to live. His growth was simply too fast. When he was still in the true severing realm, he could only be considered an outstanding young talent in the 33 heavens. But in just a few years, he had already grown into an existence of the virtual path. He had reached a level that only people in the ancient era could reach. If he was given more time to cultivate, perhaps in just a few more years, even meditative realm powerhouses would not be able to catch him. Let's give it our all. Those 2 third-level meditative realm powerhouses are not that easy to restrain. If we really can't do it, then we can only be straightforward and give up this opportunity. Today's matter is too important. We can't afford any mistakes. Even if we give up on killing Du Xiaofu, We can't afford any mistakes. Niemo ancestor's expression was solemn. He thought seriously for a while and said so. His old eyes looked past Du Xiaofu and the others, all the way to the distance behind them. That was the range of the burial space mountain. Many beastmen in the Qianshu Jinhua heaven came for the burial space mountain. There was an important item inside that could not be lost. Even if they let Du Xiaofu and the others go, they could not afford to make any mistakes in this matter. Right now, they had a total of 9 meditative realm powerhouses on their side. Niemo ancestor could restrain one of Long Ke and Long Su. The remaining 8 only needed one of them to attack and kill Du Xiaofu. The other 7 would deal with the other meditative realm powerhouse. They should be able to hold him back for a while. As long as they could achieve this effect, they did not have to worry about Du Xiaofu not dying. After doing all this, the next step was to charge straight for the burial space mountain. Let's go! Since they had made up their minds, the group of meditative realm powerhouses of the Qianshu Jinhua heaven did not delay any longer. Niemo ancestor shouted coldly and prepared to lead the 9 powerhouses to charge out. However, right before they moved, Niemo ancestor's old eyes suddenly focused. They shone brightly and looked at a certain place in the void. His forward movement also stopped abruptly in place. Swish! In the silence, a golden light appeared in the void. It came out of nowhere and bloomed brilliantly. Immediately, a slender man stepped out of the void and came to the scene. He stood under the gazes of countless powerhouses. This man was extraordinarily handsome and had an otherworldly temperament. In the eyes of Niemo and the others, his body was filled with deep traces of the origin of the great Tao. He was outstanding and transcendent. His appearance has stupefied all the people of the Qianshu Jinhua heaven. They stop where they are and stop their movements. Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoyao also raised their eyebrows. They were rather surprised that another powerhouse had come. He came so suddenly. However, this man's appearance was only the beginning. Immediately afterwards, another extremely beautiful woman stepped out of the void and arrived in front of everyone. This woman was extraordinary. Her body was also exquisite. The aura she faintly emitted from her whole body was actually not the slightest bit inferior to that man just now. Swish, 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 but that wasn't the end. Behind the woman, another woman walked out of the void. Immediately afterwards, there was 1 more, 2 more, 3 more. In less than a breath's time after the first 3 people appeared, 8 more figures arrived. They stepped out and arrived in front of Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoyao and the more than 100,000 people of the Qianshu Jinhua heaven. Including the man and 2 women who appeared before, a total of 11 people arrived. 5 men and 6 women, all of whom were extremely young. The men were either handsome or domineering. The women were either gentle or elegant. Their temperaments were all different. However, every one of them had some similar characteristics. The most frightening thing was that their auras were all equally deep and vast, unfathomable. Who are these people? Seeing the appearance of these 5 men and 6 women, the eyes of Niemo ancestor and the others somewhat focused. With their cultivation, it was not difficult for them to perceive the terror of these 11 young people. They were all in the meditative realm. These young people are so terrifying. How could so many meditative realm experts appear all of a sudden? The Dragon Devil ancestor felt that his tongue was almost unable to speak straight. His pair of turbid old eyes were extremely wide open. Since when did so many young meditative realm experts appear in the 33 heavens? This was simply unimaginable. In the distance, some experts of the Incheong Wujio heaven were also astonished. From the expressions of Niemo ancestor, Dragon Devil ancestor and the others, it was not difficult for them to judge that this group of young people who had just arrived was all terrifying. None of them was simple. Even the meditative realm experts seemed to be somewhat afraid of them. It's really lively today. I didn't expect the burial space mountain to attract so many meditative realm experts. From the looks of it, these young people don't seem to have come for the burial space mountain, but for the purple-robed young man and his 2 companions. No matter why they've come, I have a feeling that there will be a fierce battle soon. In the past, the meditative realm experts could not be seen even once in 10 million years. Now, so many of them have appeared all of a sudden. Could it be that something big is about to happen in the 33 heavens? Just watch. Today's matter will definitely not end so simply. It's very likely that a huge battle will erupt. I just don't know if the experts of my Incheong Wujio heaven will break out of seclusion because of these people's arrival. Meditative realm experts. They are all meditative realm experts. We have to retreat. Once they collide, just the aftermath of the battle will sweep over us and we will die without a burial place. Countless experts of the Incheong Wujio heaven couldn't help but begin to discuss. If it was in the past, it would be really difficult for them to imagine such a scene. There were more than 20 meditative realm experts in total. Such a terrifying number was enough to sweep through a large world. Everyone realized that a terrifying commotion was about to occur. This made many people somewhat expectant. However, at the same time, some people also thought of the possible consequences. A battle between meditative forgetfulness experts was no joke. Even if it was just some of the aftershocks of the battle, those below the meditative forgetfulness level would die if they came into contact with it. It was also when such a possibility was mentioned that many people's excited hearts instantly cooled down as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over them. Let's get out of here. In an instant, countless experts broke through the sky and left the area where Burial Space Mountain was located. Some people even took to the sky and directly rushed out of the Incheong Wujio heaven. No one dared to stay any longer. If the battle between the 20 meditative realm experts became intense, the entire Incheong Wujio heaven would be affected. Therefore, the safest place was still the outside world. These people, are they all in the meditative realm? Behind Long K and Long Su, Du Xiaofu's eyelids twitched violently. However, what happened next made his mouth open into a circle. His eyes looked as if they were about to fall out of their sockets. The 11 young people who had suddenly arrived all walked towards little Xingxing. All of them had gentle smiles on their faces. Brother Jingyun, Sister Yuxiao, Sister Ying, Brother Cheng. At this moment, Long K and Long Su were overjoyed. They immediately went forward and called out to the group of men and women who were walking over. After the 11 young men and women greeted the two of them, they went straight to little Xingxing. Little girl, you've already grown so big. The man in the lead looked to be in his 30s as he spoke to little Xingxing intimately. It's been so many years, but this is the first time we've met. After that, the second woman who walked out of the void spoke as well. Her face was handsome and beautiful, like a fairy. Little sister, you're so beautiful. You've indeed obtained the best bloodline of Uncle Xiao Long and Auntie Chen Shi. Another woman walked forward and said with a smile. After that, all 11 people surrounded little Xingxing. With little Xingxing as the center, they kept sizing her up. Their eyes were filled with love. Little sister, come. Let me introduce you. Long K immediately pulled little Xingxing's arm and introduced the young men and women one by one. This is Brother Jingyun, this is Sister Yuxiao, this is Sister Ying, this is Brother Cheng, this is Brother Ji. Following his introduction, little Xingxing also followed behind and called out one by one. They are all Uncle's children. After he had finished introducing all 11 of them, Long K once again spoke like this. When these words came out, Du Xiaofu, who was standing at the side, froze. Senior brother's children are all so powerful. His heart could not calm down as it thumped nonstop. It was not difficult for Du Xiaofu to see that these 11 people were all incomparably powerful. Most of them were probably at the third stage of meditative oblivion. However, they were all senior brother Lu Xiaoyou's children. They came from the same family and came from the same bloodline. This was simply too terrifying. From this, one could imagine that his senior brother's strength was probably much more terrifying than he had imagined. Du Xiaofu worked hard to calm the emotions in his heart as his gaze swept past these people one by one. Through Long K's introduction earlier, he knew that these children of his senior brother were respectively called Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying, Lu Cheng, Lu Ji, Lu Fong, Lu Yin, Lu Xiang, Lu Qiao, Lu Rou, and Lu Lu. This is the first time I've met little Xingxing. Brother Jingyun came in a hurry and did not prepare anything. I'll give you this Chaos Sword Essence as a greeting gift. Lu Jingyun flicked his wrist lightly and a 3-feet-long sword appeared in his hand. This long sword looked very ordinary and did not emit any energy waves, as if it was an ordinary weapon. However, when Long Kei and Long Su saw it, their eyes widened. Chaos Sword Essence. Brother Jingyun's. This is a treasure that has the chance to transform into a Chaos Dao weapon. Such a precious greeting gift. Little Xingxing's big brother and second brother mumbled and swallowed their saliva. Big brother treasures this Chaos Sword Essence. I've been chasing after it for so many years and he's not willing to give it to me. In the crowd, Lu Ro curled her lips and said. When the others heard this, they laughed. They knew that Lu Jingyun's Chaos Sword Essence was nurtured with the help of their father. It was his strongest treasure and he was not willing to show it to others easily. Who would have thought that when they met their second uncle's daughter today, he would take it out and give it to her as a greeting gift? Big brother's gift is so precious. As the big sister, I can't be too stingy. Lu Yushao smiled gently. Then, a small bronze bell-like object appeared in her hand and she passed it to little Xingxing. Daoless Bell. This is the Daoless Bell. Long Kei and Long Su were once again shocked, and the shock on their faces was overflowing with words. That's right. This is the Daoless Bell. With this object protecting you, even if a meditative realm expert attacks you, you can block off the Dao's origin energy and protect yourself from harm. Lu Yushao nodded and said with a smile. This was definitely a precious treasure. It could withstand the attack of a meditative realm expert. It was simply too terrifying. To be honest, although the Chaos Sword Essence that Lu Jingyun gave him was extraordinary, it still needed a long time to nurture it before it could grow into a Chaos Dao artifact. But this Daoless Bell was different. As soon as Little Star obtained it, he could immediately use it. It could become a supreme protective treasure on his path of cultivation. Within the 33 heavens, it was likely that no one would be able to break through its seal. With Big Brother and Big Sister in front of us, the things we want to give you are unpresentable. Among the 11 people, the third brother Lu Ying smiled bitterly and shook his head. However, he still took out a top-grade Law True Artifact seal and gave it to little Xingxing. After that, the other 8 people also took out their greeting gifts and stuffed them all into little Xingxing's arms. Brothers and sisters, these treasures are too precious. Little Xingxing can't accept them. Little Xingxing shook his head and hurriedly refused. Even though Lu Ying had said that the gifts were not presentable, the gifts that these people had given him were not ordinary at all. They were comparable to the Chaos Sword Essence and the Daoless Bell. Almost all of them were supreme-grade true weapons. Some of them were even treasures that could be used for cultivation. Any one of these treasures, no matter where they were placed in the 33 heavens, was enough to cause countless powerhouses to go crazy with madness. This would lead to fierce battles, enough to cause people to go crazy with greed. They wouldn't hesitate to lay down their lives for these treasures. The dragon god was the brother of senior brother Lu Xiaoyu. These 11 people naturally treated little Xingxing as their own sister. Therefore, the things they gave to little Xingxing were the best of the best. Just accept the gifts that your brothers and sisters gave you. Lu Jingyun said with a gentle smile. They had known about the existence of this sister since a long time ago. However, she had been wandering in a small world for many years. Now that they saw her, they could not help but feel pity and love for her. Although these treasures were extraordinary, they were not heaven-defying things for their siblings. It was very easy to get them again. Hearing Lu Jingyun's words, little Xingxing was still a little hesitant. She thought for a moment and then looked at Du Xiaofu beside her. She wanted to hear his opinion. Chapter 2873. Du Xiaofu's mouth was agape. He had yet to recover from his shock. Little Xingxing's big group of brothers and sisters were really too shocking. Du Xiaofu had already reached the Empty Path realm and had exchanged blows with some of the most powerful people of his generation. He was very familiar with Su Mo Yen, Qi Yuanlin, Lian Kain, Xiao Yun and the others from Changrong Sky. However, even with their powerful backgrounds, they did not possess a supreme true law weapon. Song Ming Holy Nation was one of the top powers in the 72 holy nations. Even the first prince only possessed an upper true law weapon, which represented the highest authority. However, senior brother's children had taken out more than 10 treasures and handed them to little Xingxing. Every one of them was a rare treasure. Du Xiaofu felt his throat dry up as he swallowed his saliva with difficulty. The shock in his heart was enormous. "Father!" Little Xingxing saw that Du Xiaofu seemed to be in a daze and could not help but call out softly. It was only then that Du Xiaofu realized that someone had called out to him. Looking at little Xingxing's gaze, he thought for a while and said, "Since it is a gift from your brothers and sisters, accept it." With little Xingxing's relationship with Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying and the others, this was not too much and there was no need to be polite. "Alright." Hearing Du Xiaofu's reply, little Xingxing could not help but nod. He then bowed to the group of young men and women and said, "Thank you, brothers and sisters. You are welcome." Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying and the rest of the 11 people smiled and said. Then they turned their gazes and looked at Du Xiaofu. "This should be Martial Uncle Du." Lu Jingyun looked at him and said, "I heard father mention it before." Jingyun greets Martial Uncle Du. As he spoke, he really bowed respectfully to Du Xiaofu as a junior. Yu Xiao greets Martial Uncle Du. Lu Ying greets Martial Uncle Du. Lu Qing greets Martial Uncle Du. Lu Ji greets Martial Uncle Du. Instantly, the rest of the men and women bowed and greeted Du Xiaofu. They did not put on the airs of a meditative realm powerhouse at all. "I don't dare, I don't dare. I don't dare." Du Xiaofu hastily jumped away and fled into the distance. How could he dare to accept such courtesy? One has to know that these people before him were all terrifying existences that were hard to find in this world. Any one of them could suppress an area and make the 33 heavens tremble. They were greeting him as a junior. This was too shocking. Du Xiaofu felt that he was still unable to accept it. Regardless of whether it was in terms of cultivation or age, he absolutely did not dare to accept such a great gift. Uncle Master Du, Lu Jingyun and the others were helpless. Seeing Du Xiaofu flee, they could only straighten their bodies. "Martial Uncle Du is my father's junior martial brother, and they share more than one master. In terms of seniority, he's naturally our martial uncle. As juniors, it's only right for us to greet him." Although Lu Jingyun felt helpless, he still said so. "And we believe that your future achievements will definitely surpass ours." His words were very certain, as if he had already heard something. The other 10 people, Long Ke and Long Su, all nodded. In addition, Du Xiaofu was little Xingxing's father. This seniority could not be wrong no matter what. Let's talk about it later." Du Xiaofu hesitated for a while, not knowing what to say. What he cared about the most was not age or seniority, but the difference in cultivation between them. Before he truly reached the level of these people, he indeed felt that he could not accept such a great gift. He did not treat these young men and women as outsiders. They were all the children of his senior martial brother Lu Xiaoyu. Perhaps it was because of this relationship that made Du Xiaofu feel even more strange in his heart. Just as Du Xiaofu, Lu Jingyun, little Xingxing and the others were talking to each other, the jaws of the beastmen in the distance were about to fall to the ground. These 11 people are actually that little girl's brothers and sisters? A large group of meditative experts, they're actually a family. This is too scary. How can there be such a family? This kind of strength is enough to control a large world. The treasures that those people gave away were also very scary. Even my primordial devil dragon clan only had 2 of them. Such a precious item was given away so easily. It's hard to believe. How deep is their background? What's even scarier is that Du Xiaofu is their martial uncle. A meditative martial uncle, and the martial uncle of a group of meditative experts. This is too scary. It's really hard to imagine how powerful that master behind him and his martial uncle are. When did such a terrifying force appear in the 33 heavens? Why have I never heard of it before? Many of the beast race experts were shocked to the extreme. Everyone's expression was strange and incomparably horrified. What happened today completely refreshed their understanding of all the forces in the 33 heavens. No one dared to believe that there was such a terrifying force in the world. Including Long K and Long Su, there were 13 meditative experts all of a sudden. Could it be that they were big carrots in the ground, one at a time? At this moment, even a third-stage meditative expert like Nyemo couldn't suppress his trembling heart. This situation was really too incomprehensible. If this were to spread, no one would believe it easily. Qianshu Jinghua Heaven. At this moment, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao and the others suddenly turned around and looked at Nyemo and the others. Young people, which world are you from, and which power are you from? Nirvana demon ancestor tried his best to suppress the shock in his heart and asked. No matter what, it was better to find out the background of these people first. Knowing their origins, they would be able to obtain more information. When the time comes, they would be able to deal with them more easily. However, Lu Jingyun didn't answer him, as if he didn't hear the question at all. He continued, it said that countless beastmen once followed the devil race to conquer the 33 heavens in ancient times. If it wasn't for the fact that the 33 heavens were seriously damaged after the devil race's defeat and you all saw the opportunity and surrendered early, I'm afraid you all would have been obliterated long ago. How could you still be a disaster to this day? Lu Jingyun spoke softly, as if he was talking about an ordinary matter. As Lu Xiaoyou's eldest son, he naturally knew a lot about the situation in the Qianshu Jinghua Heaven. He had also heard about the secrets of the ancient devil race and understood some of the situation. So what if it is? Many beastmen couldn't refute Lu Jingyun's words because what he said was the truth. Countless years had passed since the events of that year. Qianshu Jinghua Heaven and the other 32 heavens had also established a non-aggression agreement that had been in place until now. Otherwise, if countless beastmen continued to cause chaos after the devil race's defeat, it would have inevitably brought about even greater losses. If you knew your wrongs and could change, then so be it. The beings of the 33 heavens gave you a way out and let you monopolize a world. This wasn't something that couldn't be tolerated, even if you made a great mistake back then. But now, not only are you unrepentant, you're colluding with the devil race again and want to carry out that bloody massacre again. As Lu Jingyun spoke, his eyes couldn't help becoming a bit fierce. He looked at Nemo ancestor and his party with cold killing intent. Don't talk nonsense, brat. Before Nyemo ancestor could speak, that seated forgetfulness expert of the Green Blood Giant clan immediately took a step forward, pointed at Lu Jingyun, and berated him. At the same time, the hearts of many people in the Qianshu Jinghua Heaven jumped, as if they felt something bad was about to happen. The other party was telling the truth, but very few people knew about this matter. The information was sealed very tightly. How could this young man know about it? And even if Lu Jingyun exposed the truth, they absolutely couldn't admit it. Otherwise, it would be tantamount to unveiling their disguise in advance and becoming enemies with the 33 heavens. If that really happened, then the Qianshu Jinghua Heavens Beast clan would be plunged into a terrible war and be attacked by all beings of the 33 heavens. Colluding with the devil race was tantamount to declaring war on all beings. Lu Jingyun did not mind at all when he heard the denial. Instead, he turned his head and looked behind him. He saw that the tens of thousands of beautiful rays of light in the sky above the burial space mountain had already been slowly withdrawn. Everything had become as calm as before. However, there was a faint movement in the entire mountain range, carrying a terrible bloody aura that made one's soul tremble. I'm afraid you came here today for that person inside, right? Lu Jingyun said again, his eyes narrowing as he stared at Nemo and the others. Hearing this, Du Xiaofu's heart couldn't help but fiercely skip a beat. He exchanged a glance with little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao. After the two came out of Burial Space Mountain, they said that there was a great ominous being buried inside. Just its aura alone was enough to make people tremble. The person Lu Jingyun spoke of, could it be that great ominous being? And the Qianshu Jinghua Heaven mustered so many people and came to Incheong Wujio Heaven for that thing? What exactly is that great ominous being? Such a question arose in Du Xiaofu's mind. He really wanted to know the truth, but obviously now wasn't the time to ask. Without waiting for the Qianshu Jinghua Heaven's people to respond, he continued, Don't be in a hurry to refute anything. I'm not interested in listening to your nonsense. Today, we came here to pick up my sister. We don't want to fight with you. Leave early and don't have any more ideas about Burial Space Mountain. Otherwise, I don't mind leaving everyone in Qianshu Jinghua Heaven here. At the end of his speech, Lu Jingyun's whole body was like a world-dominating sharp weapon, showing off its edge. Under this matchless ferociousness, many people couldn't help but shiver, especially those from the Immortal Lands Beast clan. They almost directly prostrated themselves on the ground and directly knelt down. Nie Mo's expression froze. He could only grit his teeth and spit out such a word. However, in the end, he still suppressed all the anger in his heart, not daring to erupt. Nie Mo knew that Lu Jingyun's words were not a threat. He really could do it. On his side, there were a total of 9 meditative forgetfulness experts, except for himself who was at the gaze through reincarnation level. The Green Blood Giant clan and the Divine Netherworld clan each had 1 Oblivion level expert. In addition, the demonic dragon ancestor was heavily injured, his cultivation greatly regressed. Now he could only display the strength of the first level of meditative forgetfulness. The remaining 5 were all at the Oblivion level. Looking at the other side, Nie Mo couldn't help but be shocked to discover that although the dozen or so people looked incomparably young, each one was extremely fierce. Even the weakest was at the second level of meditative forgetfulness, and there were as many as 9 of them at the gaze through reincarnation level. In comparison, the disparity in strength was too great. Once they fought, the 9 people on his side and hundreds of thousands of undying beasts could only be chopped up like cabbages. What? Not willing to leave? Facing the Nirvana Devil ancestor's fierce gaze, Long Fault took another step forward at this time and coldly shouted as he stared at him. Huff! Nie Mo's anger surged, but he couldn't do anything. He felt as if he was going to faint, his entire body fuming with anger. He took a few deep breaths, barely suppressing his anger. Then he waved his arm and unwillingly said to the many experts beside him, "Let's go." After saying that, he still stayed at the same spot for a while, then turned and left, obviously unwilling to leave. This time, the task assigned by the Lord Demon has failed again. The beasts all had gloomy faces, so dark that water was about to drip out. Their big move this time, coming to Yin Qiong Boundless Sky, was just as Lu Jingyun said, for the item in Burial Space Mountain. These were all the tasks assigned by the Lord Demon. Originally, they thought that sending 3 meditative forgetfulness experts and hundreds of thousands of undying beasts would be enough to complete the tasks smoothly. But who would have thought that they would meet Du Xiaofu here? But that was not all. A brat who was still wet behind the ears, even if he had stepped into the void path realm that only appeared in ancient times, was no more than a fledgling that had not yet matured. He could be killed with a flip of the hand. But who would have thought that because of this brat, 13 meditative forgetfulness experts had been drawn out. 9 meditative forgetfulness experts and hundreds of thousands of undying beasts of their Qianshu Jinghua Heaven, if they really fought, they could only be slaughtered. This is the second time. It's because of Du Xiaofu again. Many beasts were filled with unwillingness and hatred, wishing that they could capture Du Xiaofu, eat his flesh, and drink his blood. That brat was very abnormal. The first time in Qianshu Jinghua Heaven, he made many beasts suffer a great loss, and in the end, he even injured the Dragon Devil ancestor, causing his cultivation to fall greatly. Today, because of him, the mission sent by the Demon Lord was once again aborted. Without outside help, it would be very difficult for that person in the Burial Space Mountain to reappear in the world. Du Xiaofu, one day, my Qianshu Jinghua Heaven will kill you. When the Dragon Devil ancestor left, he could not help but look back in the direction of Du Xiaofu, his turbid eyes bursting with strong killing intent. He was the last one to leave. When he stepped into the void, all the beasts disappeared from this realm. There was no trace of them. They retreated. They actually retreated just like that? Very far away, some bold beasts of the Incheong Void Heaven did not really leave. Many of them were still overlooking the scene that happened here from afar. When they saw that a group of beasts who came aggressively retreated at this moment as if they were diving, many people were really surprised. Phew! Luckily, Luckily, they didn't really fight. Otherwise, we might really be affected. Our Incheong Void Heaven can be considered to be very lively. A total of 22 meditative forgetfulness experts appeared at the same time. This scene is too frightening. I wonder what kind of benefits there are in that burial space mountain. It actually caused such a frightening scene. At this moment, there are still 13 meditative forgetfulness experts present. I'm afraid the fortune there will not be ours. Where are the meditative forgetfulness experts of our Incheong Void Heaven? Why haven't we seen anyone appear yet? This doesn't make sense. Fortunately, we didn't really do anything to that purple-robed youth and his two companions at the beginning. Otherwise, I'm afraid we would already be dead. Many experts could not stop discussing. They sighed and were shocked by what happened today. At the same time, they also deeply thanked the many beasts of the Qian Su Jinghua Heaven in their hearts. If it were not for their timely appearance, interrupting everyone's plan and doing something to that purple-robed youth and his two companions, perhaps this entire world would not be enough for them to destroy. After sighing with emotion, many people also thought of another question. Why did not a single meditative forgetfulness expert appear in this world? They should not have been unable to detect the arrival of these people. Of course, no one could answer this question for them. Not just anyone could casually obtain information about those experts. I've always felt that the 33 heavens is about to become chaotic. In the end, someone concluded like this. When the others heard this, they also deeply felt that this was reasonable. Today's matter was extraordinary. Meditative forgetfulness experts, which were rarely seen in millions of years or tens of millions of years, had actually come all of a sudden. This was too shocking. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, no one would have dared to believe that this was true. In the distance, Du Xiaofu and the others watched the many beasts leave. They also continued to chat with each other. What exactly is buried in that burial space mountain? Facing Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao and the others, Du Xiaofu really could not help but think in his heart. After meeting Dongli Chihuang and Chen Yan in the Fiend God battlefield, Du Xiaofu already knew that the Qian Su Jinghua Heaven was now under the control of the demon clan. This time, they definitely came for some unspeakable secret. Since it was related to the demon clan, Du Xiaofu could not treat it seriously. Father told me that 2 experts were buried there. Lu Jingyun did not look at Du Xiaofu. Instead, he cast his gaze toward the burial space mountain again. At this moment, that mountain range appeared to be very calm. There were no strong fluctuations emanating from it. However, with his cultivation, he was able to sense some unusual movements. Even if it was him, he would feel his heart palpitate. Chapter 2874. 2 powerhouses? Du Xiaofu wasn't too surprised. Little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao had obtained the same inheritance, so they must be one of the 2 powerhouses. The other ferocious being might be the second powerhouse. That's right. Lu Jingyun nodded and said with certainty, the inheritance little Xingxing and martial uncle's brother obtained is the Origin Phoenix true skill. He is one of the powerhouses buried in Burial Sky Mountain. As he spoke, he turned to look at little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao. The Origin Phoenix inheritance. Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoyao, and little Xingxing were all shocked. What kind of existence was the Origin Phoenix? They'd naturally heard of it. It was rumored that in the ancient times, when the heavens and earth had just been created, when all the races were flourishing, the human race was still weak and hadn't truly risen to power. There were 3 strongest races in the 33 skies, the dragons, the phoenixes, and the Qilins. These 3 races were endlessly powerful, dominating the world, and no one could resist them. They were at the peak of their glory and without limit. Even now, countless years had passed, and these 3 races still dominated the 33 skies, representing the strongest existences. Among these 3 races, the strongest people in the ancient times were called the Ancestor Dragon, the Origin Phoenix, and the Qilin. They were all terrifying masters, the first batch of living beings born from the heavens and earth. No one knew exactly how strong they were. They only knew that their names resounded through the 33 skies, and they were existences that had reached the pinnacle of the world. However, later on, the ancient demon war erupted. Under the bloody attacks of the demon race, all the world suffered countless casualties. Even powerhouses like the Ancestor Dragon, the Origin Phoenix, and the Qilin couldn't survive. These three powerhouses and some other supreme beings led the living beings of the 33 skies to battle the demon race. In the end, almost all of them died, causing the heavens to weep blood and the world to weep. Fortunately, they defeated the demon race in the end, and the 33 skies were preserved and didn't become a demon realm. So, Burial Sky Mountain was the site of the great battle all those years ago, the burial ground of the Origin Phoenix? Du Xiaofu quickly understood that this was probably the truth. Senior martial brother Lu Xiaoyu had once told him that the pinnacle of cultivation for living beings in this world was the Tao Carrier realm. Up until now, only those who were born in the primal chaos and experienced the battle between the 3,000 gods and demons possessed the highest level of strength in the manifestation realm, such as Pangu and the demon ancestor. So, he was practically able to determine that the ancestral dragon, Origin Phoenix, and primordial Qilin from all those years ago were definitely bodies of the Tao Vessel realm. They transcended the restraints of the heavens and the earth and walked out their own Tao. I see. It was no wonder that it was incomparably terrifying. Burial Sky Mountain had also become the Yin Qiong boundless heaven's greatest forbidden ground. Since ancient times, no one had dared to step foot into it. It turns out that Yuan Feng's skeleton is buried here. Du Xiaoyao was also incomparably shocked. Her golden eyes were filled with shock. When they entered, they were enveloped by a mysterious energy, so nothing unexpected happened. And after leaving Burial Sky Mountain, that mysterious energy dissipated in the end. Yuan Feng possessed the body of the Tao Vessel realm. Even though he'd fallen long ago, there was still a small amount of the power of the great Tao contained in his body. But even this small amount was still enough to make Burial Sky Mountain a forbidden ground that no one could enter. Lu Jingyun spoke, confirming Du Xiaofu's guess. A Tao Vessel realm elite possessed their own Tao and was no longer related to the order of the 33 heavens. The great Tao of the heavens and the earth could do nothing about it. They were true supreme beings. After he'd fallen, the power in his body had also dispersed. But it was the skeleton of a supreme elite after all, so it still retained some of the source of the great Tao. Thus, it allowed little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao to obtain this great opportunity. The inheritance of the Yuan Feng true skill. Du Xiaofu was speechless and sighed with emotion. That was definitely a great benefit, and ordinary people didn't even dare to think about it. He was happy for Du Xiaoyao and little Xingxing. Being able to obtain this opportunity would definitely allow the two of them to walk on the path to the peak. Their future achievements would definitely not be inferior to Lu Jingyun, Lu Yushao, Long Ke, Long Su, and the others before him. And the truth was exactly so. When Du Xiaofu and the two of them were separated, they were only at the half-step Heavenly Saint realm, which was the half-step God-seizing realm. But when they met again today, they'd already stepped foot into the immortal realm, crossing the God-seizing realm and the void-returning realm. This kind of breakthrough was too shocking. It was extremely rare in the 33 heavens to attain the immortal realm after cultivating for a few hundred years. Brother Jingyun, who is the second expert buried in the Burial Space Mountain? Right at this moment, little Xingxing's beautiful eyes suddenly moved as she asked Lu Jingyun. When Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoyao heard this, they both looked at Lu Jingyun at the same time, wanting to hear his answer. They were also very curious about Burial Sky Mountain and wanted to know more about it. In fact, Du Xiaofu also guessed that the second elite should be that great ominous being. Perhaps it had some relationship with the devil race. Otherwise, it wouldn't have caused the Qian Su Jinghua heaven to mobilize so many people. Besides the primordial phoenix, the other elite buried in Burial Sky Mountain is the Hell-Blood Phoenix Primogenic. People call him the Blood Ancestor. Lu Jingyun did not hesitate and said directly, Hell-Blood Phoenix. Du Xiaofu's heart fiercely jumped. He was greatly shocked. Hell-Blood Phoenix. These 4 words were like a clap of thunder exploding in his ears. Could it be that it's another terrifying being? Du Xiaoyao and little Xingxing were somewhat puzzled. They did not understand why Du Xiaofu had such an expression. Seeming to have guessed what the two of them were thinking, Du Xiaofu couldn't help but nod and say, "Back when I was in the Yuqing Divine Kingdom, Master once told me that the Qian Su Jinghua Heaven had once joined forces with the Devil Race to conquer the 33 heavens when the world had just been created and the Devil Race was in chaos. Their leader was the Hell Blood Phoenix clan. They were extremely powerful. The primordial demon dragon, the green blood giants, the divine netherworld clan and countless other beasts of the Qian Su Jinghua Heaven were only their subordinates. But later, as the war intensified, the Hell Blood Phoenix clan's primogeniture was suppressed. This clan was also completely annihilated and no longer existed in the world. There were no more Hell Blood Phoenixes in the world." Du Xiaofu told Du Xiaoyao and Little Xingxing what Yu Yuqian told him. Hearing this, Du Xiaoyao and Little Xingxing were extremely astonished. After the Hell Blood Phoenix clan was annihilated, the three clans led many other races to raise their flags and surrender. At that time, the living beings of the 33 heavens and the Devil Race had reached the most critical moment of the war, so they did not pursue the responsibility of those races. Instead, they made an oath with them. The three clans led the other races to occupy the Qian Su Jinghua Heaven and were not allowed to leave for generations. People from the outside world were also not allowed to easily step into that place. However, Yu Yuqian did not know that the primogenitor of the Hell Blood Phoenix clan, Blood Ancestor, was actually suppressed in the Inxiong Boundless Heaven. There was no need to think too much. Everyone could imagine that the person who suppressed Blood Ancestor was the primogenitor of the Phoenix clan. Primogenitor suppressed Blood Ancestor. That battle must have been earth-shaking. Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoyao, and Little Xingxing all felt dazzled. It was as if they had returned to the ancient times when the sky was scarlet and everywhere was filled with endless killing and blood. To be able to make primogenitor use all her strength and pay the price of her life to suppress Blood Ancestor, it could be seen how powerful Blood Ancestor was at that time. In fact, the Phoenix clan and the Hell Blood Phoenix clan originally came from the same origin. They were formed from the Grand Tao of Heaven and Earth and gave birth to twins from the same egg. They were both Xiantian life forms. Lu Jingyun spoke again and threw out another important piece of information. However, their temperaments and personalities were completely opposite. The Phoenix clan was noble and unparalleled, representing purity and respect. On the other hand, the Hell Blood Phoenix clan loved to kill and kill without restraint. This was the deepest reason why they were able to ally with the Devil Race. He sighed. As Xiantian life forms of the 33 heavens, primogenitor and Blood Ancestor were undoubtedly powerful. However, the two walked the opposite path. In the end, Blood Ancestor led the Hell Blood Phoenix clan to become enemies with the entire 33 heavens. In the end, the entire clan was annihilated and became a silent existence in the world. Born from the same egg, sleeping in the same grave. This can be considered a relatively perfect ending. Du Xiaofu let out a long sigh and said with emotion, "Very few people in the current world knew the specific situation of the ancient era. Even Lu Jingyun and his senior brother Lu Xiaoyu had only heard some rumors and didn't know the specific details. They didn't know what kind of relationship there was between primogenitor and Blood Ancestor. However, the result was that the two of them were born and buried together. It was also a kind of reincarnation of the heavens." However, after Du Xiaofu said this, Lu Jingyun's expression became extremely serious. He said, "No. Everything is not over." Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoyao, and Little Xingxing raised their eyebrows in surprise. However, the three of them didn't interrupt. They just stared at Lu Jingyun, wanting to hear what he was going to say next. Primogenitor and Blood Ancestor were born together, and their strength was similar in the later stages. There was no difference in strength. In the ancient war, in order to stop the slaughter of the Hell Blood Phoenix clan, primogenitor didn't hesitate to disperse her own Tao origin and suppress it, forming this burial space mountain. The result of doing this was that she could only suppress it for a while and couldn't kill Blood Ancestor completely. After countless years of wear and tear, most of the energy in Burial Space Mountain had been lost. As Lu Jingyun spoke, he glanced at Little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao before he continued. After you obtained primogenitor's inheritance, the energy there was completely dispersed in the end, and the Hell-Blood Phoenix's Tao origin was completely exhausted. His words made Du Xiaofu and the rest shudder with fear and trepidation. The Blood Ancestor hadn't been completely killed by Primogenitor, and he was only suppressed in Burial Space Mountain. However, it made sense when they thought about it. If two people with completely equal strength fought, there would only be two results. Either both sides would be injured or perish together. However, it was extremely difficult for existences that had reached the Tao Vessel realm to perish together. Primogenitor and Blood Ancestor were born from the heavens and the earth, and they were practically undying. If Blood Ancestor wholeheartedly avoided battle and didn't fight Primogenitor head-on, then he could soar freely in the world, and no one could truly capture him. Thus, Primogenitor could only disperse his Tao origin power and restrain Blood Ancestor in Burial Space Mountain. However, the result of doing this was that he couldn't completely kill Blood Ancestor and could only be suppressed. Even if it was the Tao origin power, there would still be a day when it dissipated completely. In other words, the Hell-Blood Phoenix's ancestor, Blood Ancestor, might still reappear in the world, but Primogenitor has truly fallen and can no longer be revived? Du Xiaofu's expression was extremely serious as he asked this question. Lu Jingyun didn't say anything when he heard his question. He only nodded seriously and confirmed his words. Du Xiaofu suddenly felt a sense of regret. As Primogenitor, who was born from the same root as Blood Ancestor, he actually couldn't completely kill him. He understood because during the ancient demon war, the heavens mourned, living beings cried blood, and the world was sorrowful. In order to stop the slaughter as soon as possible, Primogenitor had no choice. Only by suppressing Blood Ancestor could the common people have a better chance of survival. For this, he paid the price of his life. In the end, the result was relatively perfect. He really suppressed Blood Ancestor for countless years. However, now that Primogenitor's final power has turned into inheritance power and was obtained by Little Demon and Little Xingxing, doesn't this mean that Blood Ancestor is very likely to break free and wreak havoc in the 33 heavens again? Du Xiaofu spoke again with a serious expression. Without the suppression of Primogenitor's power, the Blood Ancestor, who hadn't truly died, naturally had the possibility of being reborn. If that was really the case, it would be absolutely terrible news for the living beings in the 33 heavens. Martial Uncle is right. The purpose of the many beast clans in Qian Su Jinghua Heaven is to welcome back the Hell-Blood Phoenix ancestor. Lu Jingyun nodded again and said seriously. At this moment, Du Xiaofu finally understood why the Primordial Demonic Dragon Clan, the Green Blood Giant Clan and the Divine Netherworld Clan, the three strongest clans in the Qian Su Jinghua Heaven, each sent a meditative realm expert to lead over 100,000 immortal realm experts to the buried space mountain in the Yinqiong Void Heaven to welcome back the Blood Ancestor. Once Blood Ancestor returned, he would definitely join forces with the demon race and lead the many beast clans in Qian Su Jinghua Heaven to massacre the 33 heavens. Jiangchen, Dongli Qihuang, Chen Yan, and the many demons sealed in the 18 levels of hell were already terrifying enough. If Blood Ancestor were to appear, Du Xiaofu didn't dare to imagine. Was there anyone left who could suppress a Tao-bearing realm expert? Just as Du Xiaofu, Little Xingxing, Du Xiaoyao, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Long Ke, and Long Su were deep in thought, a huge explosion suddenly rang out. Rumble! A terrifying shockwave swept out and spread in all directions. A blood-red light suddenly rushed out of Burial Sky Mountain not far from them. It tore the sky apart and caused a terrifying black hole to appear in the sky, showing a state of chaos. There was a vast and mighty power of the great Tao origin, crushing the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It almost made Du Xiaofu and the others kneel on the ground. Screech. Immediately after, a bird's cry penetrated the soul and carried an all-pervasive pressure. It almost shattered the souls of Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoyao, and Little Xingxing. If Lu Jingyun and the others hadn't acted in time and used their methods to protect the three of them, Du Xiaofu felt that his soul really would have been torn apart and crushed into powder by that terrifying pressure. After the bird's cry, a 5-colored light burst out of Burial Sky Mountain again and instantly defeated the blood-red light, causing it to disappear into nothingness. After a long while, everything gradually calmed down and returned to normal. That's after Lu Jingyun removed the protection. Du Xiaofu, Little Xingxing, and Du Xiaoyao all shook violently and almost fell down. They cannot suppress the fear in the bottom of their hearts. The pressure of that power that appeared just now was really too strong. Even when facing the several meditative forgetfulness experts of the Qian Su Jinghua heaven, the three of them did not have such a feeling of powerlessness. Du Xiaofu couldn't help but feel inexplicably panicked. Just now, he really felt like he was in a perilous situation. That's the power of the blood ancestor. He's starting to break free from the seal. Lu Jingyun said in a deep voice with a solemn face. As a top meditative forgetfulness expert, he could perceive more things. As he spied on it, the primordial phoenix seal in Burial Space Mountain had already become extremely thin, and the blood-red vicious creature that was being suppressed below was doing its best to flip itself over. Can we suppress him again? If the blood ancestor is allowed to escape, there will be endless trouble in the future. After circulating the profound energy in his body with all his might, Du Xiaofu finally calmed down his chaotic energy. He looked at Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying, Long Ke, and Long Su, asking if they could continue to suppress the blood ancestor for a period of time to prevent him from escaping. With our strength, it's impossible to suppress the blood ancestor. Before Lu Jingyun could say anything, Long Ke spoke first. He said, "That's the Tao-bearing realm. He has his own Tao. The great Tao origin energy that we control comes from the 33 heavens. We can't do anything to him. Unless someone of the same level as him acts, there's only hope." He was also panicked by the blood ancestor's strength. However, the blood ancestor was an existence that was born at the beginning of the world. Because of the limitation of their cultivation, they couldn't suppress him at all. And this made Du Xiaofu completely give up. It seemed that only someone like senior brother Lu Xiaoyu could continue to suppress the blood ancestor. Don't worry. Although the blood ancestor wants to escape, he must have been seriously injured in the ancient war. Plus, he's been sealed for many years. His current strength is no longer the same as before. Even if he escapes, he'll need a long time to recover. At this time, Lu Jingyun spoke again. Father has already expected this. He knew that all of this would happen. However, he also said that he won't easily interfere with the affairs of the 33 heavens. Everything will develop naturally. All of these things will come to an end one day. After Lu Jingyun said this, Du Xiaofu finally let out a sigh of relief. Senior brother had made corresponding arrangements for matters related to the demon race. Although Du Xiaofu didn't know the specific details, he understood that his goal was to completely eliminate the demon ancestor. Therefore, the blood ancestor's escape should be under his control. It could be imagined that even if the blood ancestor appeared again, he would definitely go to the Qian Su Jinghua heaven or some other place to heal his injuries and recover his peak strength as soon as possible. If he wanted to continue to wreak havoc in the 33 heavens, he would need a long time to recover. Chapter 2875. After Du Xiaofu, Lu Jingyun, Long Ke, and the rest had finished their conversation, they no longer spoke. The commotion from the burial void mountain was too terrifying. It made them tremble for no reason. Everyone fell into silence with lingering fear. It was also because of the terrifying pressure that had suddenly descended that the entire Yin-Qiong boundless sky was in an uproar. Many creatures did not know what was going on. They did not know why such a terrifying feeling had suddenly appeared. It was as if the entire sky was pressing down, as if the end of the world had arrived. Only the many experts who had arrived earlier and were watching Du Xiaofu and the rest from afar knew that the commotion had originated from the burial void mountain. There must be something extraordinary in the burial void mountain. It's too terrifying. That pressure was too powerful. I've never seen anything like it. It made my heart tremble. Even the attacks of those meditative forgetfulness experts didn't make me feel so hopeless. At that moment, I really felt like I was going to die. No wonder the burial void mountain is a forbidden land. No one has been able to enter since ancient times. There must be a huge secret hidden inside. However, it's a disaster for us. It seems that the large group of meditative forgetfulness experts in the distance do not intend to enter to explore. It's obvious that the thing inside is extremely terrifying. Fortunately, we retreated far enough. If we were closer, we would have really died just now. Many experts could not help but discuss. They were still unable to calm down even now. Without the help of the meditative forgetfulness experts, if they had been too close to the burial void mountain, it would have been impossible for them to escape death. They would have died instantly under the terrifying pressure. In fact, at the same time that the huge commotion was emitted from the burial void mountain, in the secret lands of the various large forces in Incheong boundless sky, numerous old figures opened their eyes at almost the same time. Their eyes pierced through the void and looked in the same direction. These were all meditative forgetfulness experts who had been in seclusion for many years. They were all alarmed. Within the 33 heavens, there were several large worlds that let out long sighs. Chaos is coming again. Is the 33 heavens unable to continue its peace in the end? Since the blood ancestor has moved, the demon race will soon reappear in the world. I wonder what the result will be this time. No one could hear these sighs. It was as if they had passed through the universe and come from the ancient times to the present world. However, these voices once again, the sky, let's go. There's no need to stay. Near Burial Sky Mountain, Du Xiaofu took a deep glance at the large mountain range in the distance before he spoke. With his current strength, he could not do anything to the Hell Blood Phoenix clan's ancestor. He could only leave first. Brothers and sisters. Our brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters. Star, 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 little star. And Lu Jingyun, Luan and Long, On, Lu Air, Lu and Lu Long, long, little. Especially Long K and Long Su. Now that she had reunited with the little Xingxing siblings, she did not wish to be separated again so soon. Long Fault gave a carefree smile and rubbed little Xingxing's soft hair, messing it up. His doting feelings were beyond words. Big brother, you're as annoying as father. Little Xingxing slapped Long Fault's palm away. After glaring at him, he then fiercely glared at Du Xiaofu, causing Lu Cheng, Lu Ji, Lu Fong, Lu Yin and the rest to burst into laughter. We came to the 33 heavens to bring you out of seclusion. We won't be returning to the 3,000 worlds for now. Lu Jingyun looked at Star and said, let's go to the Yuqing Divine Kingdom. It's been a long time since we last saw Grandmaster. As he spoke, the corners of his mouth involuntarily curled into a smile. Du Xiaofu knew that the Grandmaster Lu Jingyun spoke of was naturally Yu Yuqin. After Yu Taiyan gave up the position of Divine King, he left the Yuqing Divine Kingdom, leaving only Yu Yuqian, Chu Daoju, and the others to guard it. There's also Qingyan, Qingyao, and Qingxi. Lu Yuxiao said with a smile. Du Xiaofu was a little stunned. His senior brother Yu Taiyan's 7 children were at least a few hundred years old. Especially Yu Qingyan and Yu Qingyao, who had cultivated for thousands of years. But in the eyes of Lu Jingyun and the others, they were 7 little fellows. If that was the case, wouldn't he be even more of a little guy? However, in terms of seniority, he was the martial uncle of all of them. Thinking of this, Du Xiaofu didn't know whether to be proud or sad. Qingyan, Qingyao, and Qingxi are all in the Divine Devil battlefield. I wonder what the situation is like there. Du Xiaofu suddenly thought of this. The Divine Devil battlefield was full of danger and great opportunities. He didn't want anything to happen to the 20,000 people in the Yuqing Divine Kingdom. But then again, with the help of the holy sons and holy daughters of the 35 sacred lands, there shouldn't be too much of a problem. At this time, Dongli Qihuang, Shenyan Jiangchen, and the others had all entered the depths of the 18 layers of hell. Since he wasn't in the Divine Devil battlefield, they wouldn't attack a group of young disciples. Let's go. We'll go to Changrong Heaven, then return to the Divine Battle World and bring Grandpa, Grandma, and Auntie to the 33 skies. Little Xingxing was extremely happy and said in high spirits. Today was an extremely important day in his life. He had reunited with his 2 older brothers and the children of his 11 uncles. At the same time, he had reunited with his long-lost father and obtained the great opportunities left behind by Yuan Feng in the burial Sky Mountain. Every single one of these matters was worthy of her extreme joy. Let's go. Lu Jingyun stretched out a finger and lightly swiped it in the air. With a chi-la sound, the boundless void was cut open like a piece of white paper, and a huge space channel appeared. He moved first, followed by Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoyao, Little Xingxing, Long Ke, Long Su, Liu Xiao, Lu Ying, and the others. When the spatial crack gradually closed, the figures of the dozen or so people all disappeared from Yinqiong Immaculate Heaven. When Du Xiaofu walked out of the spatial tunnel, he couldn't help but be extremely shocked by the meditative forgetfulness expert's abilities. He could cross worlds with a flick of his finger. This ability made him extremely envious. Back then, he had only seen his senior apprentice brother Lu Xiaoyou's bloodlust. It had pierced through the barrier between Qiansu Jinghua Heaven and Changrong Heaven, allowing him, Chu Daoju, Long San, Ling Feng, and the others to easily leave. Yuqing Divine Kingdom, this is our first time here. I wonder how Junior Marshal Uncle Taiyan is doing now. Lu Jingyun stepped out of the void and stared at the huge divine city and the majestic palace in the distance. Yu Taiyan was his father's senior apprentice brother, so he naturally had to address him as Junior Marshal Uncle. I'll bring everyone to see Master. Du Xiaofu looked at Lu Jingyun and the others and said. Then he led everyone through the palace to Yu Yuqian's residence. Du Xiaofu's return to the Yuqing Divine Kingdom naturally caused a commotion in the Divine Palace. Now that he was the Yuqing Divine Emperor, he naturally received the most attention. Master, I'm back. When Du Xiaofu pushed open Yu Yuqian's courtyard, he saw a scene that shocked him. The old man was grinning, spittle flying from his mouth. As he spoke, he made a series of gestures with his hands, as if he was giving orders. In the small open space in front of Yu Yuqian, Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaolin, and Du Xiaohuang were standing there, listening to their ancestors' narration. Each of them had a bitter face, and their 3 pairs of big eyes kept rolling around as if they were thinking about how to escape from the old man's control. At this moment, the courtyard door was pushed open, and Du Xiaofu's figure appeared in their sight. Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaohuang, and Du Xiaolin all cheered. Dad, you're finally back. Uncle Xiaofu, you're back. Dad, I missed you so much. The 3 of them threw themselves at Du Xiaofu's side at the same time, intimately. Du Xiaofu stroked their heads lovingly. The 3 of them had grown up quite a bit now, especially Du Xiaoba. His face looked to be only 12 or 13 years old, but he was incomparably tall and sturdy. The muscles on his entire body were bulging, and he was like an ancient savage beast that was hibernating there, and he was suffused with explosive strength. Du Xiaolin, on the other hand, looked like he was less than 10 years old. He looked like he was carved from jade, as cute as a porcelain doll. Du Xiaohuang looked slightly younger than Du Xiaoba, and was even more mischievous than when she was young. She also looked a little slender and elegant. Xiaoba, Xiaolin, Xiaohuang, look who's back. Du Xiaofu pinched Du Xiaohuang's pink cheeks, then pointed behind him. Coincidentally, Du Xiaoyao and Little Xingxing walked in from outside. Sister Xingxing, Uncle Xiaoyao. The 3 of them were stunned at first, then their figures flashed, and they rushed to Du Xiaoyao and Little Xingxing's side. Even though Little Xingxing's appearance had changed, she could still be seen from back then. Besides, her aura hadn't changed. Sister Xingxing, Uncle Xiaoyao, where have you been all these years? I was so worried about you. Du Xiaohuang's eyes instantly reddened, and she almost started to sob. It had been hundreds of years. They had been separated for hundreds of years. The Yuqing Divine Kingdom had sent countless people and used countless resources to search for them, but they hadn't been able to find them. Although Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaohuang, and Du Xiaolin didn't say anything, they were just as worried as Du Xiaofu. They didn't dare to imagine what they would do if something happened to Sister Xingxing and Uncle Xiaoyao. Sister, you're fine. Uncle Xiaoyao and I have been fine all these years. We're back. Little Xingxing also showed some love. Back then, she and Uncle Xiaoyao had been separated from the other kids in order to lure away the enemies who were chasing them. They were also very worried. It wasn't until they saw Du Xiaofu at Burial Space Mountain that they confirmed that the other four had been found and were very safe. Your uncle Xiaoyao left Shenwu world and is destined to dominate the 33 heavens. How could something happen to him? Du Xiaoyao pinched the cheeks of the three little fellows and said with a proud expression, "Dad, can you control Uncle Xiaoyao? His bad habit of bragging still hasn't changed." Du Xiaohuang slapped away Du Xiaoyao's hand that was pinching her face and said angrily to Du Xiaofu, "When I was in Shenwu world, I was already used to Uncle Xiaoyao's bragging." Du Xiaoba chuckled and said as such. Little Xingxing and Du Xiaolin heard this and nodded vigorously to show their agreement. They knew Du Xiaoyao very well after so many years. He probably couldn't change his bad habit of bragging. Du Xiaofu looked at Du Xiaoyao, Du Xiaoba, and Du Xiaohuang fooling around and couldn't help but smile. "Master!" He turned his head and bowed to Yu Yuqian. "Xiaofu, my disciple, why did you come out of the divine devil battlefield?" Yu Yuqian was very surprised. Back then, Chu Daoju, Ling Feng, and Long San sent Du Xiaofu, Yu Qingyan, Yu Qingyao, and more than 20,000 divine kingdom disciples into the divine devil battlefield. Calculating the time, it was still a long time before that place opened again. Why did Du Xiaofu come back now? I'll tell you in detail later. Look who's here. Du Xiaofu didn't answer Yu Yuqian's question and smiled at him. Du Xiaofu turned around and Yu Yuqian also looked outside. Instantly, Lu Jingyun, Liu Xiao, Lu Ying, Lu Qing, Lu Ji, Lu Feng, Lu Yin, Lu Xiang, Lu Qiao, Lu Rou, Lu Lu, Long Ke, and Long Su all walked in. The 13 youths rushed to Yu Yuqian's side and bowed to him at the same time. Jing Yun greets Grandmaster. Yu Xiao greets Grandmaster. The 13 meditative forgetfulness experts all bowed down respectfully without the slightest bit of neglect. Lu Cheng, Lu Ji, Lu Feng, Lu Yin. Looking at these youths, Yu Yuqian suddenly opened his mouth wide and his beard curled up. Then, excitement appeared on that old face and he said happily, "Good, good, good. My good grand-disciples, you're all here. You're all here to see Grandmaster." Yu Yuqian walked up and waved his hands, asking Lu Jingyun and the rest to stand up. "Grandmaster, this is Jingyun's gift to you." Lu Jingyun suddenly took out a jade box and handed it to Yu Yuqian. Du Xiaofu didn't even need to think to know that this jade box definitely contained some kind of treasure. Moreover, something that a meditative forgetfulness expert took out definitely wouldn't be bad. "Child, it's good enough that you came to see me. Why did you have to bring something?" Yu Yuqian's old face stiffened and made a reproachful look, as if he was angry. However, what happened next made Du Xiaofu's eyes almost pop out of their sockets. Yu Yuqian's face was filled with anger, but his hand naturally reached out and took the jade box from Lu Jingyun's hand. Then, without even looking at it, he threw it into his cosmos bag. "Grandmaster, this is Yu Xiao's gift to you." Lu Yuxiao also stepped forward and took out a jade bottle and handed it to Yu Yuqian, who also accepted it. "Yu Xiao, aren't you being too formal with your grandmaster?" Yu Yuqian's face became serious again and said sternly. However, Lu Yuxiao almost couldn't hold back her laughter. She watched as Yu Yuqian took the jade bottle away. "Grandmaster, this is my gift to you." "Grandmaster, this is Lu Feng's gift to you." "Grandmaster, this is Lu Yin's gift to you." Soon, Lu Xiaoyao's 11 children stepped forward and each of them took out an item and handed it to Yu Yuqian. "We're all family. There's no need for this. You're being too formal. Although I'm your grandmaster, this is too formal. Don't do this in the future. If you do this again, I'll really get angry." Every time Yu Yuqian took the treasures from their hands, he pretended to be very angry and called out Lu Jingxiu, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying, and the others. He didn't like the way they treated him as an outsider. Du Xiaofu cursed in his heart. He couldn't wait to find a hole in the ground and hide in it. Following such a master, even he himself felt that he had lost face. "Old man, if you want the treasures, just take them. Why do you have to put on such an unhappy face? If you're really as unwilling as you say, then reject them." However, Du Xiaofu also noticed that Lu Lu, Lu Rou, Lu Qiao, and Lu Xiang were trying to hold back their laughter. However, the others maintained their composure very well. Although they were all smiling, They seemed to be used to Yu Yuqian's behavior. Needless to say, this was not the first time this had happened. Comparisons are odious. Du Xiaofu rubbed his forehead and sighed. When he saw more than a dozen people taking out treasures and handing them to Yu Yuqian, he couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. It was really good to be the master of the ruler of the 3,000 sectors. It was also because of this that Du Xiaofu understood why Yu Yuqian had so many good things on him. Back then, he had taken out so many treasures for himself and Elder Kong at once. Presumably, those treasures were given to him by Lu Xiaoyu, Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, and the others. Perhaps in the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds, not a single immortal boundary powerhouse could compare to Yu Yuqian in wealth. He was simply a walking treasure trove in human form. He had collected all sorts of rare and precious treasures in this world. In the 33 heavens and the 3,000 boundless worlds, any random old ancestor of a major force would be considered poor compared to this old man. I still have to extort him properly in the future. The good things on this old man are definitely much more than I imagined. After collecting so many treasures, I have to make the best use of them in order to bring out the usefulness of the treasures. It is also the greatest respect for them. Du Xiaofu used to think that Yu Yuqian had given him a lot of things and that he would not have anything left. But today, it seemed that poverty had limited his imagination. He might have underestimated Yu Yuqian's wealth. Just today, he had seen 11 treasures, all of which were from the meditative realm experts. Each of them was a rare existence in the world. Du Xiaofu secretly swore that in the future, he would constantly plunder Yu Yuqian's treasures and dig out his huge treasure trove. This process was naturally long and arduous. It required a lot of hard work, sweat, and labor to finally achieve what he wanted. But what was a little bit of hard work? With so many treasures, just thinking about it made him excited. Chapter 2876. At this time, Du Xiaofu felt that his mouth and tongue were somewhat dry. He couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. He was so excited that he rubbed his hands together. Some plans began to take shape in his heart, planning how to rob Yu Yuqian in the future. I'm relieved that you've all come to see this old man. Yu Yuqian took all the treasures and said to Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, and the others. He was indeed very happy. Looking at the group of grand disciples in front of him, he naturally exuded a sense of pride. These young fellows were the strongest existences in the 3,000 boundless worlds and the 33 heavens. Their father was the one and only supreme being in this world. As their grandmaster and master, Yu Yuqian couldn't help but feel proud of himself. In the two worlds, how many people could compare to him and have so many outstanding juniors? Master, let's talk inside. At this moment, Du Xiaofu spoke. Yu Yuqian nodded his head. Soon after, he led a large group of people into the large hall and began to chat. Ouyang Shuang also received the notice and came to the main hall. After introducing little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao, Du Xiaofu briefly explained what happened in the Divine Demon battlefield and told Yu Yuqian that his senior brother Lu Xiaoyu had appeared. After that, he told Yu Yuqian about the situation in Inqiong Wudao Heaven. Hearing this, Yu Yuqian frowned. The birth of the infernal Blood Phoenix clan's ancestor is definitely a big deal. However, it still can't compare to the demon race's comeback. Without the demon race, no matter how strong the blood progenitor is, he won't be able to create much of a storm. Yu Yuqian was very worried. He stared deeply. As the master of the 3,000 boundless worlds, he naturally knew that when the demon race reappeared, they needed someone to stand in front of them. Otherwise, not to mention the 33 heavens, even the 3,000 boundless worlds would be protected. The person who would be the vanguard would naturally be his most outstanding disciple. His enemy was the strongest person of the devil race, the devil ancestor. That was an existence that could kill Pangu. Although Lu Xiaoyou's power was sky-high, he was not an elite that came from chaos. Compared to Demon Alpha and Pangu, there was still a gap. Father has made arrangements for this matter. Grandmaster, you don't have to worry too much. When Lu Jingyun saw Yu Yuqian's expression, he couldn't help but console him. Yu Yuqian nodded and sighed softly. I'm proud of all of you, but when it comes to serious matters, you can't help at all. He sighed with emotion. As a master, he was actually unable to lend a hand to his disciple and grand-disciple and could only be a spectator. This was indeed something that made him feel guilty. However, due to the limitation of his innate endowment, his foundation wasn't solid enough. Even though Yu Yuqian had a lot of treasures, he could only reach first sky of immortal realm. Now, Du Xiaofu had far surpassed him. Master, these things should be done by us. As an elder, you only need to watch. Du Xiaofu stepped forward, looking at Yu Yuqian as he spoke resolutely. Some people were strong while others were weak. Capable people did more work. This was the unchanging truth since ancient times. Du Xiaofu had considered Yu Yuqian his family for a long time. If so, of course, he had to do his best to protect him. Listening to Du Xiaofu, Yu Yuqian felt gratified. When I give birth to a bunch of kids, you should help me take care of them. Du Xiaofu suddenly glanced at Ouyang Shuang, smiling. Ouyang Shuang rolled her eyes, glaring at Du Xiaofu. That's good. That's good. Yu Yuqian laughed heartily, an expression of hee-hee appearing on his face, causing Ouyang Shuang's beautiful face to flush red. After Du Xiaofu's joke, the atmosphere in the hall relaxed a lot. Yu Yuqian did not think too much about it. Since his disciples and grand-disciples had the ability to make a difference, he would let them hold up the sky by themselves. The group chatted for a long time, from the 33 heavens to the matters of the 3,000 boundless worlds. Through their conversation, Du Xiaofu finally knew that the Lu family was the most powerful existence in the 3,000 sectors. In addition, there was a force called the Flying Spirit Sect. It was controlled by Lu Xiaoyu before he stood at the peak, and he brought it to glory. In addition, Yu Yuqian, Chu Daoju, Ling Feng, Long San, and the others all came from the Cloudy Sun sect. It was a sect that Lu Xiaoyu had once cultivated in, and now it was incomparably prosperous. Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoyao, Little Xingxing, and the others also knew a lot about Little Xingxing's father, the Dragon God. They knew that he was the strongest in the Azure Dragon clan, and had a close relationship with the White Tiger clan and the Vermilion Bird clan. The 3,000 great Kiliacosms have similarities with the 33 heavens, but also differences. Through their conversation, Du Xiaofu learned more about the 3,000 sectors. There were many worlds. 3,000 was just a number, and not a real number. It was not like the 33 heavens, where there were only 33 worlds. However, the 33 heavens were opened up by great god Pangu. This was many, many years before the 3,000 boundless worlds. Every world here was extremely powerful, comparable to several of the strongest existences in the 3,000 boundless worlds. The Lingwu world, where Lu Jingyun, Long Ke, and the others were from, was the head of the 3,000 sectors. The worlds below were weaker in strength, unlike the 33 heavens, where the overall strength of each world was not too far apart. Although the worlds of the 33 heavens could not be compared to the Lingwu world, the difference was not too great. Thus, in terms of overall scale and strength, the 33 heavens were stronger than the 3,000 boundless worlds. However, the similarity between the two was that they were created by the gods and devils who walked out of the primal chaos. The structure of life and laws were basically the same. Du Xiaofu, Yu Yuqian, Lu Jingyun, Long Ke, and the others chatted in the hall for a long time. In the end, the gazes of Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Lu Ying, and the others turned to Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaohuang, and Du Xiaolin. These three little fellows are not bad. Lu Jingyun's eyes were bright. His gaze swept across the three of them one by one, and he said with a smile, "Their aptitudes are outstanding. At such a young age, they have already stepped into the true severing realm. If they are properly nurtured, their future achievements will be limitless." Lu Yuxiao was also in high spirits as she stared at Du Xiaoba and the others. When Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaohuang, and Du Xiaolin came to the 33 heavens, they were half-step seizing gods. In these hundreds of years, the Yu Qing divine kingdom had greatly nurtured them. Yu Yuqian even treated these little fellows as his own grandsons, and gave them many treasures. Therefore, the three of them improved their cultivation at an incomparably fast speed. In terms of cultivation aptitudes, they were even much stronger than Yu Qingyan and Yu Qingyao. This was because they had grown up in the divine battle world in their early years and had suffered many restrictions. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, the three of them would have caught up to Yu Qingyan, Yu Qingyao, and the others. However, one had to know that the difference in age between them was too great. "Little fellows, are you willing to take me as your master? I can guarantee that it won't be long before all of you break through to the immortal realm." Suddenly, Lu Jingyun's eyes lit up as he said this. His expression was solemn and serious, and he did not look like he was joking at all. This, however, Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaohuang, and Du Xiaolin hesitated. They had worked very hard in their cultivation these years, but the three of them also knew that this was not enough to make their strength soar. However, the strange thing was that there seemed to be some kind of power in the unseen world that had descended several times, causing them to improve by leaps and bounds as if they had been enlightened. Not long ago, an even more magnificent power had been instilled, causing the three little fellows to step into the truth-severing realm in one fell swoop. In fact, not only the three little fellows, even Ouyang Shuang, whose aptitude was not particularly outstanding, was now close to the threshold of the truth-severing realm. It was also because of this that Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaohuang, and Du Xiaolin felt that even if they did not take anyone as their master and only relied on their own cultivation, it would not take long for them to step into the immortal realm. A few hundred more years would be enough. Therefore, Lu Jingyun's words were not very attractive to them at all. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and take me as your master." However, Du Xiaofu was a little anxious. He could hear that Lu Jingyun's words were a little conservative. However, one had to know that these were all powerhouses in the third stage of meditative forgetfulness. They wanted to take Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaolin, and Du Xiaohuang as their disciples. This was something that outsiders could only dream of. These three little fellows were actually still hesitating. Du Xiaofu wanted nothing more than to go up and slap them. Although taking Jingyun, Yu Xiao, and the others as masters is a bit lacking in seniority, we cultivators do not need to care too much about this. As long as we can nurture these little fellows and make them the top existences in this world, that is a good thing. Yu Yuqian stroked his beard and narrowed his eyes as he spoke. He naturally knew what it meant for Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaohuang, and Du Xiaolin to become Lu Jingyun's disciples. Needless to say, in the future, these three little fellows would grow into terrifying existences. At that time, Yu Yuqian's generation of disciples would become even more prosperous, dominating the 33 heavens. In addition, Du Xiaofu, because of the uniqueness of Shenwu world, really had the chance to reach Lu Xiaoyou's height. In this way, not only would he be able to do whatever he wanted in the 3,000 boundless worlds, even the 33 heavens would be his own backyard. Such a feeling of soaring to the heavens. Just thinking about it made people feel excited. These three little fellows are Master Du's children and nephews. If we really talk about it, we are not outsiders at all, so the title of master and disciple doesn't matter. Most importantly, it is really difficult to find such outstanding little fellows nowadays. In the crowd, Lu Ying spoke and said. Hearing this, the others all nodded in agreement. It's better to take them as disciples. No matter what, these three fellows are still young. With the identity of a master, they will feel deterred. Du Xiaofu was very smart and immediately said this. The difference between taking them as disciples and not taking them as disciples was huge. Once the three little fellows became Lu Jingyun's disciples, the other party would have to teach them with all their might. Otherwise, if the disciples were not worthy, the master would lose face. Because Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaolin, and Du Xiaohuang had profound cultivation at a very young age, they were still at the level of children whether in terms of body or mind. It was time for them to reach the heavens, so they still needed to be taught a good lesson. In terms of seniority, Du Xiaofu did not care at all. The most important thing was to let these little fellows get enough guidance and grow. This was the best result. Then, no one said anything. Under Yu Yuqian's witness, Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaolin, and Du Xiaohuang respectively took Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, and Lu Ying as their masters. Lu Cheng, Lu Ji, Lu Feng, and the others also said that they would help them from the side. This result was exactly what Du Xiaofu wanted. Master, I plan to go back to Shenwu world soon and bring father, mother, sister, brother Qing Chun, and the others to Yu Qing Divine Kingdom. After everything was done, Du Xiaofu bowed and said to Yu Qin. Now, he finally had a place of his own in the 33 heavens. Many people in Shenwu world had been looking forward to going to the 33 heavens for a long time. Du Xiaofu felt that it was time to bring his family and friends out to train. Otherwise, if they stayed in Shenwu world and were suppressed by the power of heaven and earth, it would be very difficult for them to break through to a higher level. Now that you are the Yu Qing Divine Emperor, you can make all the decisions. Yu Yuqian nodded and did not say anything more about this. Since Yu Qing Divine Kingdom was already in Du Xiaofu's hands, everything was up to him. Then I will prepare and leave as soon as possible. Du Xiaofu nodded and could not help but feel excited. Father, mother, Xiaojing, elder Yi, brother Qing Chun, sister Du Xiaoman, brother Du Yunlong, grandfather Jialo Badian, grandmother Jialo Maluo Yipiaoling Qingyu. There was also Su Muxin, Qi Shi Yizijin, Zi Xian, Sima Muhan, so on and so forth. So many of his family and friends, he had not seen them for hundreds of years. Du Xiaofu missed them very much. Also, after the experts of the 3 continents and Kyushu world worked together to fight against the devil religion and the demon god, Shenwu world should be very peaceful right now. There might not have been many changes. The only thing Du Xiaofu felt was that there were more and more Saint Realm experts in that world. Maybe one of them could break through to the Seizing God realm. Dad, come back quickly, I miss Grandpa, Grandma, Auntie and the others. On the second day, Du Xiaolin said crisply. Du Xiaofu took little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao and prepared to go back to Shenwu world. Originally, the 3 of them wanted to go back together, but since they had just become disciples, Lu Jingyun and the others wanted to teach them well, so they could only stay in Yu Qing Divine Kingdom. Ouyang Shuang also stayed behind to take care of the 3 of them. But Du Xiaofu would be back soon, so there was no need for too many people to go back with him. Don't worry, I'll be back soon. Du Xiaofu replied with a smile, then without any delay, he tore through the void with Du Xiaoyao and little Xingxing and quickly left. There were endless cracks between the worlds of the 33 heavens, and they needed to pass through these cracks to return to Shenwu world. Why can't I sense the existence of Shenwu world? As the 3 of them traveled, Du Xiaoyao suddenly frowned and said, That's right, I can't sense the exact location of Shenwu world either. How strange. Little Xingxing also opened his mouth and said those words. Logically speaking, this shouldn't be the case. They had just left Shenwu world, and even if there were countless smaller worlds under the 33 heavens with their immortal realm cultivation, it shouldn't be hard for them to find Shenwu world. But strangely, when they used their primordial spirit to search, it was as if they had entered a dark abyss, unable to find the location of Shenwu world. I also have the same feeling, but if we use our connection to Shenwu world, we should be able to find its location. Du Xiaofu was confused. Luckily, he had once controlled the heavenly Tao of Shenwu world, so he had a secret connection with that world, so he only needed to use his mind to find its exact location. However, this situation made Du Xiaofu even more confused. Back then, after the devil religion's calamity ended, the School of Agriculture, School of Moism, School of Philosophers, School of Taoism, and the rest of the 9 great clans all sent their combatants into Shenwu world. Then, the School of Legalism, School of Philosophers, and School of Vertical and Horizontal all stopped them outside Shenwu world. Then, how did they find Shenwu world from the 33 heavens? There are still a lot of unsolved mysteries in that world. I'm afraid we'll need more time to find out all of them. Little Xingxing thought for a bit and said. Du Xiaofu deeply agreed with this statement. Shenwu world had a terrifying suppressive force that made the entire world feel like a cage. Even the lords of the 3,000 boundless worlds and the dragon god were suppressed by it. Furthermore, that world also suppressed the demon ancestor's body, who later became Jiangqin. All of this could only mean one thing, which is that Shenwu world wasn't ordinary. There must be a lot more secrets that haven't been uncovered yet. Shenwu world is completely different from the other small worlds in the 33 heavens. Perhaps, that world also had a glorious past many years ago. Du Xiaoyao suddenly spoke up and made such a conjecture. I'm guessing that the school of Yin-Yang, school of Confucianism, school of Buddhism, and the rest of the 9 great clans all had their own branches in Shenwu World. That's why they were able to accurately locate it. As for the others, it's very difficult. This might be a protective measure for Shenwu World, but I don't know who set it up. Du Xiaofu thought for a bit and came up with such a conjecture. Seems like other than himself, it won't be easy for little Xingxing, Du Xiaoyao, and the others to return to Shenwu World by themselves. But that's good, at least that place won't attract the attention of the powerful forces in the 33 heavens, allowing Shenwu World to peacefully develop and become a small world. Since he has a decent foundation in the 33 heavens, the living beings of that world will also have a springboard to show off their strength in the 33 heavens. Just like that, Du Xiaofu felt very satisfied. Chapter 2877. The 3 of them moved very quickly. Du Xiaofu seemed to be guided by an invisible force as they headed in a certain direction. Even though Du Xiaofu was leading Du Xiaoyao and little Xingxing at full speed, they still spent a lot of time before they finally got close to Shenwu World. However, compared to when they went to the 33 heavens, they were already much faster. Du Xiaofu couldn't help but sigh. Although his strength had increased greatly, he was still far from senior brother Lu Xiaoyou's level. Even compared to Lu Jingyun, Lu Yuxiao, Long Ke, Long Su, and the others, there was still a huge gap between them. If I can make another breakthrough soon, I'm sure I'll be close to the meditative realm. Within the 33 heavens, I'll be able to reach many places. Du Xiaofu thought to himself. He really wanted to be like those powerhouses and be able to ignore the barriers of space and travel across worlds. Senior brother Lu Xiaoyu had said that the virtual realm he was in was unprecedented. It was divided into 3 stages: retracing the path, transforming the path, and carrying the path with the body. Du Xiaofu felt that at the very least, he had to step into the transforming the path before he could reach the meditative realm. Only then could he truly soar through the 33 heavens and countless other small worlds. We're finally home. Just as Du Xiaofu was thinking, little Xingxing suddenly spoke with excitement. They had left Shenwu World for hundreds of years, but the 3 of them hadn't even trained for 100 years in Shenwu World. This was a very long time, and it was impossible for the 3 of them not to miss their family in Shenwu World and everything here. Shenwu World, we're back. Du Xiaoyao also cheered. Looking at a place not far from the world barrier, she could vaguely sense a familiar aura. His lips curled into a smile as he thought to himself. If he returned to Shenwu World, he would be the 3rd strongest person after Du Xiaofu and little Xingxing. Even if the desolate nation and other powers had many outstanding individuals, it was impossible for them to cultivate faster than him in the 33 heavens. Thinking of this, Du Xiaoyao felt as if there was wind beneath her feet, and she felt much lighter. Let's go! Du Xiaofu looked at the 2 of them, smiled, then led the way and rushed into Shenwu World. Ever since a few hundred years ago, the older cultivators of Shenwu World were well aware that the entire world was changing every day. These changes made all living beings feel as if they were under the care of a god, allowing them to gain enlightenment on many laws and principles in one fell swoop. This was especially so when there were several huge movements that made it seem as if the apocalypse had arrived. It caused the appearance of the 3 continents Kyushu to change drastically. Layers of land surged out and spread out endlessly. Right now, this world was many times larger than it was in the beginning. Later on, all the strong cultivators realized that this was the transformation of Shenwu World, an unimaginable change. And the bigger the terrifying movements, the greater the changes in the world. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth became denser, and all living beings gained more benefits. After all these years, it was hard to find a saint in Shenwu World, and no one could touch the realm above the saint realm. Other than Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoyao, Du Xiaoba, Du Xiaohuang, Du Xiaolin, Du Tingxian, Du Yunlong, Zhen Qingchun Yipiaoling, Changguyu, Jialo Juayu, Du Xiaojing, and the others, after they followed the demon god to Xian Ke Palace in the clouds and broke through to half-step heavenly saint in that unrestricted space, they were still at a level that no one could touch. But right now, Shenwu World had undergone earth-shattering changes. Sage realm cultivators, who were hard to come by in the past, were now everywhere. Even small sects had several Sage realm cultivators in charge. And for the Desolate Country, the Golden Rock Clan, the Confucian School, the Taoist School, the Divine Temple, the Beast Alliance, Tianmu Academy, the Ancient Heaven Sect, the Black Talisman Sect, the Seven-Star Hall, the Saman Sword Sect, and other powerful forces with deep foundations, it was even more glorious. Among these forces, a large number of seizing divinity cultivators had emerged. Even the Desolate Country's Du Shaojing, Du Yunlong Yipiaoling, Jialo Jueyu, and the others, who had reached half-step Heavenly Saint a long time ago, were now in the true Severing Realm. Back then, before the Heavenly Wood Divine Tree ancestor of the Fangji family left Shenwu world, he had told everyone about the 33 heavens and the 9 realms. So now, Shenwu world was not unfamiliar with this at all. Everyone had some understanding of the realms beyond the Heavenly Saint realm. The Desolate Country's Stone City had become the center of the tricontinent Kyushu realm after the Devil religion's calamity. Now, it was a holy land for cultivation, and it was more than 100 times larger than it had been in the past. It attracted countless cultivators because it was the Desolate Country's imperial city. The Desolate Country also vaguely controlled the various clans and great powers. Early in the morning, the night gradually faded away from the Shenwu continent, and the light of dawn slowly awakened the sleeping creatures. Within the mountain range, a gentle mist rose, covering the mountains in a layer of milky white. The pure white mist made everything seem hazy and illusory. In the 4 seas, the vast sea and lush green islands seemed to form a faint ink painting. The morning breeze by the seaside gently caressed. Suddenly, above the calm East Sea, there was a sudden fluctuation. As the space gradually fluctuated, a huge whirlpool appeared. Whoosh! In an instant, the wind and clouds surged above the sea, and the vast sea was suddenly filled with raging waves. A powerhouse has arrived. At this moment, all the powerhouses in the Shenwu world sensed something, and their tightly shut eyes suddenly opened. Then one figure after another rushed out and disappeared from where they were. Within the whirlpool of the 4 seas, a purple-robed figure appeared out of thin air, and then the spatial whirlpool slowly disappeared. The purple-robed figure stood in the air, and the entire Shenwu world trembled for no reason. It was Du Xiaofu, Little Xingxing, and Du Xiaoyao who had returned from the Shangqing world. "I'm finally home." Looking around, Du Xiaofu felt the abundant spiritual energy in the Shenwu world. He closed his eyes slightly. The Shenwu world was the place he had walked out of hundreds of years ago. This was his true home. His many family members, friends, and loved ones were all here, waiting for his return. Du Xiaofu took a deep breath and released his consciousness. Instantly, he was able to see the huge changes that had taken place in this world. And the result he obtained shocked him to the core. This is the Shenwu world? How could there be such a huge change? Du Xiaoyao also clearly sensed all of this. Her entire person was stunned on the spot as she muttered, "What's going on?" The size of the Shenwu world. It's even bigger than the Yinqiongwu by sky and the unparalleled Changrong sky. Little Xingxing's eyes were wide open, and the mark between her eyebrows was shining brightly. Her eyes were filled with endless confusion. Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoyao were also confused. If they didn't feel the familiar aura of this place and the terrifying suppression, they would have suspected that they had entered the wrong place and entered one of the 33 heavens worlds. But as one of the few powerhouses in the 33 heavens, their senses couldn't be wrong. Just as Little Xingxing said, the size of the Shenwu world right now was much bigger than any of the worlds in the 33 heavens. The density of the spiritual energy here was no less than that of the 33 heavens, and even a little higher. But the laws of heaven and earth here were different from other worlds. When the 3 of them released their primordial spirits, they could completely cover this huge area. Especially in Du Xiaofu's case. He controlled the heaven Dao of this dimension, so he was even able to accomplish this. The Shenwu world has changed. Du Xiaofu fiercely swallowed his saliva and murmured. But the strange thing was, when he was in the 33 heavens, he didn't feel any huge changes in the Shenwu world. The suppression of heaven and earth is still here, but compared to before, it's much more comfortable. Du Xiaoyao carefully sensed everything and said, but Du Xiaofu frowned. He still didn't understand. The suppression of Shenwu world, as far as he knew, was from the immemorial era, when the Du clan's ancestor fused with the Heaven's Path suppressed the demon god. After the opening of the tomb of Heaven's Path, this suppression has been weakening. After the demon god died and he controlled the Heaven's Path, the suppression also weakened. However, when they returned this time, they could still feel a considerable amount of suppression. There's something special about this world. This suppression, when senior brother came here, he was restricted to the seizing god realm. Du Xiaofu furrowed his brows as he thought to himself. The drastic changes in the Shenwu world, plus the terrifying suppression, made him feel that this world was completely different from the 33 heavens and countless other small worlds. And this difference would probably only be revealed after all the suppressive forces were completely eliminated. Otherwise, with senior brother Lu Xiaoyao's cultivation, he would have broken free from the shackles of heaven and earth. He shouldn't be affected by this world's suppression. But the reality was, even if he came to the Shenwu world, he still had to follow the rules and order here. This was something he couldn't understand. Crackle, crackle, crackle. Just then, silhouettes after silhouettes broke through the air and appeared on the ocean. Drunkard dad. Sister. Brother Qing Chun. Second brother. Juyu. Silhouettes after silhouettes appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. They had already sensed the arrival of these people. Now that he saw them in person, he couldn't contain his excitement and rushed forward. The first to arrive, other than the Huang country's Du Tingxian, Zhen Qingchun, Du Xiaojing, Du Yunlong, Jialo Juiyu, and others, who else could it be? Grandpa, Uncle Qing Chun, second uncle, Annie. Little Xingxing was also excited. These were all her family members that she missed day and night. They were like blood relatives. Xiaofu. Little Xingxing. Little demon. The group of people from the barren country were all stunned. Their gazes turned to the descending figures and their blood began to boil. Their hearts trembled and they exploded with emotions. Kid, you're still willing to come back. Du Tingxian immediately gave Du Xiaofu a big bear hug. His words were filled with anger, but he couldn't hide the joy on his face. Crackle, crackle, crackle. Not long after Du Tingxian and the others arrived, another large group of silhouettes appeared from all directions. Each of them had a powerful aura. The silhouettes looked excitedly at Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoyao, Little Xingxing, and the others. They were all surprised for a long time. We haven't seen each other for a few hundred years. Don't you recognize me? Looking at these people, Du Xiaofu couldn't help but laugh. Under his gaze, there were at least a few hundred people standing in the void around him. The original heavenly music sect of Yunzhou, Golden Spear sect of Ningzhou, Saman Sword sect of Shangzhou, Heavenly Thunder Fortress of Laizhou, Hundred Flowers Gate of Wanzhou, Snow City of Yuzhou, Sacred Flame sect of Lanzhou, Chuanhuan sect, Black Talisman sect, Taoist school, Confucian school, School of Moism, School of Farmer, School of Yin Yang, and many others had all arrived. In addition, the ancient sky sects Sima Taxing, Golden Rock Sage, Gu Qingyang, Seven Star Hall's people, Tianwu Academy's general, Ghost Child, Gu Xinyan, Gua Xiaofeng, Tang Wu, Dongli Diao, Jialo Batian, Jialo Moro, Jialo Kaling, and Jialo Juekong from the Golden Rock clan, the Sage Hall and Beast Alliance from the ancient desolate continent, Yi Piaoling, Qianguyu, Anya Cha, Duo Sha, and many others from the 18 celestial generals of the Huang country, filled the space around Du Xiaofu. They were all looking at the purple-robed youth in the middle. They all opened their mouths, wanting to say something, but they couldn't. Kid, you ran away so quickly back then. You still know to come back. In the end, Jialo Batian harumphed and said this. In the past, Du Xiaofu only brought a few people with him when he left Shenwu world and left everyone else behind, causing a lot of resentment. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, soon, more and more people arrived. More and more experts gathered in the sky above the four seas. Rock Emperor. These people who came later immediately bowed respectfully. They all submitted to the purple-robed youth in the sky with unparalleled reverence. Back then, It was this young man who led the entire 3 continents, 9 prefectures, and 1 world to fight against the devil sect. In order to kill the demon god, he used all his strength, even sacrificing his life. Even though the demon god didn't really die in his hands, everyone knew that if it wasn't for Du Xiaofu, if it wasn't for the great rock emperor, the Shenwu world would have been reduced to a demonic realm. Don't stay here. If you have something to say it back in the Huang country. Du Xiaofu looked at the experts around him and was shocked by their cultivation. But he didn't say anything. It wouldn't be too late to talk about these things back in the Huang country. Then, everyone suppressed their excitement and followed Du Xiaofu back to the Huang country. At the same time that Du Xiaofu returned to Shenwu world, in the crack between the 2 worlds, 3 figures appeared out of thin air and stood outside of Shenwu world's barrier. The 3 of them looked like old men, but they had the characteristics of beasts. One of them had 2 horns on his head, shining brightly. Another had a long elephant trunk in front of his face, looking very strange. The last one was even stranger. He had a beak on his mouth, just like a bird. The 3 old men all had profound auras that were difficult to estimate. One look and one could tell that they were extraordinary. If Du Xiaofu was here, he would surely be able to quickly recognize these 3 people. They were the 3 beastmen that the primordial demon dragon clan's demonic dragon ancestor had summoned in the Inqiong everlasting heaven not long ago. They were respectively from the primordial raging ox clan, the white jade dragon elephant clan, and the jade-scaled divine crow clan. They were the strongest experts of these 3 great beast clans. Their strength was far beyond Du Xiaofu's. They were all at the first level of sitting forgetting heaven and earth. The 3 of them were also top existences in the Qian Su Jinghua heaven. They were called Ancestor Niu Huang, Ancestor Xiang Huang, and Ancestor Wu Zhu by the countless beasts there. After that kid left the Supreme Chang Rong heaven, we've been following him for so long. Finally, he's settled down. The Baron Ox clan's ancestor Niu Huang said as he looked in the direction Du Xiaofu, Little Xingxing, and Du Xiaoyao had disappeared. Du Xiaofu actually dared to act alone. He probably didn't expect that our Qian Su Jinghua heaven would no longer allow him to live. Ancestor Xiang Huang's long trunk twisted and turned. His voice was deep and resounding, but it was filled with intense killing intent. He won't be able to escape. This time, without those young sitting forgetting experts following him, Du Xiaofu is dead for sure. Ancestor Wu Zhu said. His words were accompanied by croaking sounds. This place isn't one of the 33 heavens. It must be a small world. I once received news that Du Xiaofu should have come from a small world. This should be his old home. Ancestor Niu Huang said as he looked at the world barrier not far away. Due to the obstruction of the world's laws, he could not clearly sense the situation in Shenwu world. But without a doubt, since this was where Du Xiaofu grew up and it was not one of the 33 heavens, it must be a small world. Now that they were here, if they wanted to kill Du Xiaofu, it would be as easy as flipping over their hands. Most importantly, that kid did not have any sitting forgetting experts following him. This way, they would be able to act without any hindrance. Send a message back to the 3 great clans. Tell them that we've found Du Xiaofu and that we're going to capture him immediately. Ancestor Xiang Huang said as he stretched out a withered hand. A bright light gathered and condensed into a ball of light. When the ball of light was crushed by his hand, everything disappeared into nothingness. The mission given by the Demon Lord is finally completed. Ancestor Wu Zhu sneered and said in a sinister tone. To the Qian Su Jinghua heaven, Du Xiaofu was not only the shame of their world's beast clans, he was also a target that must be killed. Only his death could wash away all of this and give the demon clan a perfect answer. This way, after the terrifying bloodbath in the future, the Qian Su Jinghua heaven would have enough confidence to fight for more benefits. Chapter 2878. The Rock Emperor has returned. This news spread like a hurricane, causing Shenwu world to become extremely lively. Every single region was in an uproar. Originally, after the great changes to the world, many living beings went into seclusion to cultivate and break through to a higher realm. But after Du Xiaofu returned, it was as if a giant rock was thrown into a calm lake, causing waves to ripple. The entire Shenwu world seemed to tremble. Following that, all the strong cultivators of the major factions came out of seclusion and swarmed towards the desolate country. The great calamity of the devil religion a few hundred years ago caused all the factions in this world to unite like never before. In the hearts of countless living beings, the Rock Emperor Du Xiaofu was the pillar of this world, an existence that everyone had to look up to. His return had caused the entire world to go crazy. A few hundred years in the long river of time is like the snap of a finger. The changes in the 33 heavens are few and far between, but the current Shenwu world seems to have turned the world upside down. After returning to the desolate country, Du Xiaofu couldn't help but sigh. He used the power of the heavenly path to investigate the strength of all the living beings in this world and found that there wasn't even a single mortal left. With the help of the dense spiritual energy of heaven and earth and the vast amount of resources every living being could cultivate, especially those who were born after Du Xiaofu left. They were all extraordinarily talented and were born in the innate realm. Such a terrifying change made Du Xiaofu, Du Xiaoyao, and little Xingxing exclaim in disbelief. Shenwu world might be able to rise in the future and be on par with the 33 heavens. Du Tingxian, who had been through so much, made such a guess. He couldn't help but think this way because the changes in these few years were simply too great. If it was before, no one would dare to believe it. That's right, I have the same feeling. Du Xiaofu nodded in agreement. He carefully sensed around and found that the suppression of this world had decreased a lot. If there was enough time, many immortal realm beings would appear. However, only a few hundred years had passed and there were still very few true severing realm beings. Everything still needed time to develop. This was a good thing, but at the same time, Du Xiaofu was a bit worried. After all, this world's foundation was too weak. If there were any conflicts with the 33 heavens, or if someone coveted it, it would bring a lot of trouble. Luckily, he had the Yuqing kingdom as well as his senior Lu Xiaoyu and the dragon god. If there was a day, they wouldn't just sit by and do nothing. I believe Shenwu world will get better. Some of the old people were comforted. They knew that all of this had something to do with Du Xiaofu. Com Shenwu's Jun's realm had Du Xiaofu's was realm's realm. Everyone came to the same conclusion. The higher Du Xiaofu's cultivation, the more his body transforms, the more benefits Shenwu world will receive. This was most likely because he controlled the heavenly Tao of this world. The formless power of order had a secret connection with him. In other words, if one day Du Xiaofu could reach the peak, then this world would be even stronger than the 33 heavens. No one could clearly explain the reason behind this, but this was definitely the reason behind it. Let's get ready. In a few days, I plan to pay my respects to the ancestors. Du Xiaofu didn't think too much about Shenwu world's problems and sighed. The reason he came back this time was to pay his respects to Huolei Laozu, Lei Tianhuang, Mu Qinggu, Feng Wuxie, Ren Yuan, Yao Tianwu, and the others. These people all died a few hundred years ago during the devil religion's calamity. For the peace of this world, they sacrificed their lives to fight against the devil religion. In the end they fell. It was Huolei Laozu and Lei Tianhuang who disintegrated themselves and turned into the power of lightning that helped Du Xiaofu complete the law of lightning, surpassing the Sky Saint realm. Only then did he have the qualifications to fight against the demon god. The names of these heroes will never be forgotten. They were imprinted in the hearts of all living beings in Shenwu world. Not even the passage of time can erase them. I'll go prepare. Yi Wuming nodded and said to Du Xiaofu. He had just entered the seizing god realm. With the Huang country's support, his strength increased greatly. Although he still looked like an old man, both his body and mind had undergone a huge transformation. Senior Yi, you've worked hard for so many years. Now that so many years have passed, it's time to rest. There are some things that should be left to the younger generation. You don't have to do everything yourself. Du Xiaofu looked at the old man in front of him and said, along the way, Senior Yi had sacrificed too much for the Huang country. From the beginning, he had been a hands-off boss. If it weren't for Senior Yi, Murong Yorua and the others, the Huang country wouldn't be as prosperous as it was today. You brat. Senior E rolled his eyes at Du Xiaofu and said, I've been busy my whole life. When I suddenly have nothing to do, I feel like I have nothing to do. You young people and the younger generation can just go out and explore. Leave the Huang country to me. There's no need for you to worry about these trivial things. Moreover, in this world, there's not much for me to worry about. Shenwu world had been peaceful for hundreds of years. It was unprecedented. Even though there were still conflicts between the younger generation of the various powers, all of this would absolutely not implicate the experts of the older generation and cause a large-scale battle. After all, they had all survived the great calamity of the devil religion. All of them had a common enemy. At the very least, in a short period of time, this kind of camaraderie would not fade away. The conflicts between the younger generation were purely for the sake of training. This time, I came back to take everyone to the 33 heavens to explore. I have some foundation there so that when the people of this world go to the outside world, they won't have a place to stay. Du Xiaofu then said to Jialo Batian, Guoming, Zhu Shui, Sima Taxing, Gu Qingyang, Yuzheng Tongxian, and the other major forces. But as soon as he said this, the hall fell into a deathly silence, and no one spoke up to answer him. This surprised Du Xiaofu. Many experts, especially those old guys, didn't they always want to go to the 33 heavens? But what was the situation now? Why weren't they cheering at all? Hee, Zhen Qingchun chuckled and said, the 33 heavens, according to what you said, I'm afraid it's not much better than the current Shenwu world. The advantage there is that there are many experts and you can get a lot of training. However, the current Shenwu world is still growing. The benefits of training here are even more unimaginable. So that said, as long as you keep breaking through and making Shenwu world more and more prosperous, there's not much difference between staying here and going to the 33 heavens. Unless you hit a bottleneck, you can go to the outside world to train and broaden your horizons. After his explanation, Du Xiaofu finally understood what everyone was thinking. At the same time, the experts from the various forces all revealed smiles as they stared at Du Xiaofu with beaming faces and nodded their heads incessantly. Du Xiaofu rubbed his nose, feeling a bit awkward. So in these hundreds of years, these people have been living more comfortably than he thought. They didn't have to worry about it at all. That's right, the process of growth in this world is extremely rare. If they can enjoy the benefits here, why would they want to go to the 33 heavens? After all, with their current cultivation, they weren't strong enough. If they went out to train, they'd only be looking for trouble. Their plan was to wait until their cultivation stabilized before going to a higher level. That's when they can truly come into contact with the outside world. The world is growing. Then, in this process, will new laws be formed? Suddenly, Du Xiaofu thought of this. He heard from his senior brother Lu Xiao that in the ancient times, the innate life forms that could step into the realm of Tao Bearer had all comprehended the mysteries of the universe during the process of the world's growth and the creation of laws. But after everything stabilized, these conditions no longer existed. In the countless years that followed, not a single Tao Bearer had appeared. Then, thinking back to Shenwu world, would a new set of laws and order be born, allowing the living beings of this world to clearly perceive it, allowing them to obtain the strongest laws and logos of heaven and earth? Given enough time, wouldn't a Tao carrier realm be born? But this thought only flashed through his mind for a moment before Du Xiaofu erased it. He sighed inwardly. After all, this world had been born long ago. Most of the laws and principles had been fixed long ago. Even if a new order was born, it would only transform the original foundation. It wouldn't be like when the 33 heavens were first born, when the laws weren't fixed but life flourished. Everyone, staying in Shenwu world is a good thing. I'm afraid that the 33 heavens will find it difficult to continue living in peace. Du Xiaofu sighed again, then said this. He briefly explained Jiangxin's situation and revealed his identity. Hearing this, the experts couldn't help but sigh. No wonder, when Jiangxin killed the demon god, he said that no one in this world could kill the demon god, but he could. So, he's the demon ancestor's physical body. When Du Tingxian heard this, he couldn't help but smile bitterly. the desolate country and Jiangchen had a good relationship. The demon god was formed from a strand of the demon ancestor's primordial spirit. Jiangchen killed him, devoured his power, and fused it with his own body. Just as he said, he could truly kill the demon god. In truth, the reverse was also true. If the demon god had known of Jiangchen's existence, when he was at his peak, the first thing he would have done would have been to find Jiangchen and seize the demon ancestor's physical body. Chapter 2879. Shenwu World still has a great secret. The demon god's body was once buried here, but to this day, we still don't know who did it. When Du Xiaofu thought of this, he realized that Shenwu World still had many secrets waiting to be uncovered. As for the suppression of heaven and earth, even if Du Xiaofu tried to trace it back to its source, he wouldn't be able to find out. The laws of heaven and earth and the principles of the Great Tao were too vague and hard to grasp. However, the place where the demon ancestor's body was buried was the easiest place to investigate. Back when Du Xiaofu hadn't yet become a martial emperor, he had participated in the prodigy competition with many other young disciples. He had entered the Beast region's Divine Thunder Mountain range, and Jiangchen had walked out from there. So, he planned to make a trip to the Beast region in the near future and investigate in detail. With his current cultivation, he could see through even more fabrications. Perhaps he'd be able to reap some unexpected benefits. If he could uncover the secrets of Shenwu World, it wouldn't be hard to imagine how magnificent it would be. The 33 heavens are in chaos. I wonder if Shenwu World will be able to survive. Du Tingxian let out a long sigh and muttered to himself. The demon ancestor had already entered the 18 layers of hell. All he needed was time. The massive slaughter in the 33 heavens was difficult to avoid. Although Shenwu World had expanded without limit, and in terms of scale, it was already comparable to any of the major worlds in the 33 heavens. However, this didn't mean that this world was very strong. After all, the changes here had only been going on for a few hundred years. There hadn't been countless years of accumulation. The overall strength of the living beings here was very weak. Counter-soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. Back then, during the great calamity of the devil religion, weren't we also in dire straits? Du Xiaofu said. Although he was trying to comfort his father, he couldn't help but worry. The demon ancestor was an existence that could contend against even Pangu and the legendary exalted celestial absolute. Most importantly, he had an undying body. Even the ancient war hadn't been able to truly destroy him. Du Xiaofu wasn't very clear about the reason behind this. Why couldn't great god Pangu, heavenly lord absolute, and the others fight 100 battles without dying? Thinking of this, his heart suddenly jumped, and an inexplicable idea popped into his mind without any head or tail. Could it be that my first impression is the strongest? Perhaps Pangu and exalted celestial exalted Luo are still alive? Once this thought popped up in his mind, he couldn't suppress it at all. Du Xiaofu felt his eyelids twitching nonstop. He deeply felt that his divine light flash was incomparably bold. However, this speculation was not without basis. They were all gods and devils that had walked out from the primal chaos. Great god Pangu had even opened up the 33 heavens. Why couldn't he have an undying body? If it was really as he guessed, perhaps the final battle would be even more intense than he imagined. Just how terrifying would the battle prowess of the few super experts from the ancient times be when they were revived? Du Xiaofu didn't know how to truly kill the demon ancestor this time, nor did he know why he was the key that his senior brother spoke of. Perhaps all of this was under the control of his senior brother, Lu Xiaoyu. Only such an expert would know everything that had happened in the past. In the main hall of the desolate country's imperial palace, everyone chatted for a long time. It was late into the night before they slowly dispersed. In the next few days, Du Xiaofu was extremely carefree. This time, when he returned to the divine martial world, it was not like before when he always carried a heavy burden on his shoulders. He only wanted to work hard and cultivate, not daring to slack off in the slightest. But now, the divine martial world was peaceful, and there were no trivial matters that he needed to worry about. Therefore, he brought Zixian Yizijin, Su Muxin, and the other girls to wander around this world. At the same time, Murong Yorua, Zhu Shui, and the others from the Black Talisman sect also went along. Before Du Xiaofu left, Dongli Qingqing went to the outside world with the Heavenly Wood Divine Tree Ancestor and the others. Dai Xingyu and Qing Luan Xiaoqing were also taken away by Dongxian. And after Du Xiaofu left, Qi Yeshi and Sima Muhan followed the Yinyang school and the Mo school to the 33 heavens. At this time, they were not in the divine martial world. These years, I've been running around everywhere, but I didn't find Fu Yibai, the old lunatic, or the Heavenly Wood Divine Tree Ancestor. Du Xiaofu sighed. After he left the divine martial world, he was first hunted down, then he entered the origin space, and then a series of events happened. As for those old friends, he never had the chance to meet them. Back then, the Beigong family that saved him, he should find a time to visit and thank them. Thinking of this, Du Xiaofu secretly decided that when he returned to the 33 heavens, he must quickly go to the various worlds. Du Xiaofu did not think too much about the outside world. He wholeheartedly accompanied the girls, enjoying a rare moment of peace. As for Su Muxin, she had already let go of what happened back then and gradually accepted everything. As for Yi Zijin and Zixian, they also had a tacit understanding with Du Xiaofu. Their feelings were buried deep in their hearts, and they treated each other with sincerity. As for Murong Yorua and Zhu Shui, Du Xiaofu had more of a friendship with them, but at the same time, there were also some hazy feelings mingling. It was just that it was not the time to break them. Since I have to throw away all distracting thoughts, then I'll open myself up and relax. I'll take a good look at this world. Du Xiaofu brought the girls to wander around, aimlessly and indescribably leisurely. This world had changed greatly, and its appearance had changed greatly. However, there were still some traces left. Du Xiaofu was amazed by this situation, and his heart was moved. And on the third day of his return, the desolate country finally held a grand ceremony. In the original 3 continents, Kyushu, countless powerhouses gathered. They all gathered in the desolate country to pay their respects to those heroes who had perished in the great calamity of the past. At the same time, in the various regions in the battlefields left behind from the past, there were people who placed incense and candles as tributes to the heroes who had died. Monuments stood tall in all directions, towering over the world. Names were engraved on them, shining brightly, as if they had been written with blood. They were branded in the hearts of all living beings. On this day, a vast bell rang throughout the entire world. It was like the sound of the heavens, shaking the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Countless hearts were filled with grief, especially those who had survived the great calamity. None of them were filled with sorrow. The bloody scenes of the past were still fresh in their minds. The boundless scarlet that had swept through the heavens and earth still flowed in some corners of this world, difficult to erase. All of this made many living beings grieve, but at the same time, it also strengthened their belief. Everyone had the same thought. They had to work hard to cultivate, reach a higher level, and stand in a stronger position. Only then could they have the ability to protect themselves, their loved ones, and their friends. The great calamity of the devil religion could not be forgotten. That was everyone's pain. History must not repeat itself. And all of this had to be built on the strength of the Shenwu world. Ancestor, Tian Huang, Mu Qingji, Feng Wuxie, Zhu Kong, Ren Yuan, Yao Tianwu, standing on the high altar, Du Xiaofu murmured one name after another. Tears blurred his eyes. The faces of all the powerhouses who had passed away flashed in his mind. He wished so much that these old friends were still alive, but that was obviously impossible. All that was left of them was the endless longing in the hearts of countless people. Du Xiaofu's tears were flowing, and so were the other powerhouses. That old man is dead. I really miss him. Du Xiaoyao's eyes were red as he stammered. Back in the day, he and Huolei Laozu didn't see eye to eye, especially when it came to small matters. They loved to argue, and neither was willing to submit to the other. Who knew how many times they'd squabbled? But after Huolei's death, the quarrels of the past seemed to have transformed into sharp thorns that were difficult to remove. Once touched, they pricked him painfully. It wasn't just Du Xiaoyao. Du Tingxian, Du Xiaojing, Yi Piaoling, Qinggu Yu, and the others were all heartbroken. The great calamity had caused the deaths of far too many powerhouses. Among those who died were many of their best friends, and some were even their closest relatives. How could their hearts not ache? None of this can happen again. Du Xiaofu saw all of this. After a long time, he clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. The demon god was dead, and the demon ancestor was resurrected. Everything was far from over. This was only the beginning. Once the demon race reappeared, the 33 heavens would once again face a terrifying bloody calamity. Jiangchen. Du Xiaofu muttered to himself, repeating this name. Jiangchen had once asked him to return to divine martial world, promising that it would be the only pure land. Du Xiaofu couldn't possibly agree. Without the skin, how could the hair survive? If the 33 heavens and the 3,000 realms all fell, could divine martial world really remain unscathed? At the same time, Yuqing Divine Nation's countless disciples, Master Yu Yuqian, Senior Brother Yu Taiyan, Chu Daoju, Long San, Ling Feng, and the others, Fu Yibai and Crazy Ol from the Crimson Sun Clear Sky, the Skywood Divine Tree Ancestor from the 3,000 realms, and Dongli Qingqing, Qi Yishi, Sima Muhan, and the others. How would they survive? Thus, Du Xiaofu absolutely couldn't allow this to happen. Jiangchen couldn't turn back. Right now, he was only the demon ancestor. Since that was the case, he'd fight to the end. He believed that with senior brother Lu Xiaoyu and the Dragon God's arrangements, even if Pan Gu and De Luo Tianzuan weren't here, they'd still have the strength to fight against the demons. Divine martial world is one entity. Those who dare to invade will be killed. Du Xiaofu suddenly spoke. His voice shook the sky and resounded through the entire world. His words entered into the ears of every single living being, and they were all heard clearly. Those who invade divine martial world will be killed. The living beings of divine martial world all shouted in unison. Everyone's energy rose and shot through the clouds. This was a prophecy that had been carved into everyone's bones. It was a tacit agreement formed after countless battles. Nobody would go against it. At this moment, one could see boundless energy rise up into the sky and break through the 9 heavens. Rumble. The sky shook violently, as if a giant hand was grabbing it and shaking it. Boundless energy shot through the sky, causing the world to lose its color. After a long time, all of this slowly dissipated and divine martial world returned to its peaceful state. But under such circumstances, 3 old figures came from the outside world and entered Shenwu world with a few swish, swish, swish sounds. All 3 of them had the appearance of an old man, but they had the characteristics of the beasts. One of them had 2 bull horns on his head, shining brightly. Another had a long elephant trunk in front of his face, looking very strange. The last one was even more strange. He had a bird's beak on his mouth, just like a bird. They were none other than Old Ancestor Niu Huang of the desolate ancient barbarian bull clan, Old Ancestor Xiang Huang of the white jade Draco elephant clan, and Old Ancestor Wu Zhu of the green-scaled divine crow clan, who had followed Du Xiaofu here. This world seems very scary. It doesn't look like a small world at all. Ancestor Niu Huang's eyes widened. He shook the 2 bull horns on his head and said, when they were in the crack between worlds, they couldn't clearly sense everything here. But now, as soon as they entered, an extremely dense spiritual energy rushed towards them. It was actually not inferior to the other large worlds in the 33 heavens. This situation made Ancestor Niu Huang unable to understand. There's actually a place like this outside of the 33 heavens? How can this be? Why haven't I heard of it before? Ancestor Xiang Huang was also confused. They were all old monsters who had lived for countless years. They knew the situation of the 33 heavens and the countless small worlds very well. Logically speaking, such an extraordinary world should not be hidden from them. But in fact, everything here was very strange to them. They had never come in contact with it before. Could this be the 34th heaven outside of the 33 heavens? Ancestor Wu Zhu was also shocked to the extreme. He found it hard to believe that such a situation was happening. The so-called 34th heaven had never existed before. It was just a lie on his part. This is Du Xiaofu's foundation? No wonder. No wonder he could cultivate so fast at such a young age. If it was someone from a small world, they wouldn't be able to do that. Ancestor Niu Huang was in a daze. He still hadn't recovered from his shock. However, he deeply felt that his guess was very reasonable. This world was very terrifying. It was probably because of this that a person like Du Xiaofu could come out. Otherwise, if this was just an ordinary small world, even if it had cultivated for tens of millions of years, or even hundreds of millions of years, it would be impossible for such an abnormal person to appear. Looking at the countless small worlds under the 33 heavens, which one of them didn't have a difficult life? Those who went to the 33 heavens after breaking through, which one of them didn't live under the shadows of countless experts in the 33 heavens like ants? What's going on? I feel like my cultivation is being suppressed. All of a sudden, Patriarch Mammoth Huang let out a shriek of shock and nearly leaped to his feet. He was too panicked, and his heart was pounding nonstop. This was something that had never happened in countless years. I also feel it. There's a suppressive force in this world. I'm actually suppressed to the peak of the immortal realm. Ancestor Wu Zhu was also extremely shocked. His pair of bird eyes emitted a blazing light as he tried to dissolve the terrifying suppressive force. However, to his disappointment, the suppressive force was all-pervasive. Even if he tried his best, he couldn't shake it at all. He could only let his cultivation be suppressed. Not good. Not good. Old Ancestor Niu Huang screamed. He had an uneasy look on his face. One had to know that as the peak existences in the 33 heavens, the three of them could definitely suppress a region. After comprehending a part of the Great Tao origin energy, they could make themselves compatible with the Great Tao of heaven and earth. Although they couldn't be said to be unrestrained by the heavens and earth, they could still roam freely like fish in water. They could go anywhere they wanted. But what was going on with this scene that was happening now? Why were their cultivation bases suppressed? They were only at the peak of immortal realm. This was too incomprehensible. How could there be such a place in this world that could even suppress the cultivation of meditative experts? This feeling was very uncomfortable. It made the three of them feel like they were creatures that couldn't swim. They were drowned in the endless sea, and it was difficult for them to breathe. Forget it for now. Fortunately, we still have the strength of peak of the immortal realm and can attack freely. Although we can't compare to our peak strength, it's more than enough to kill Du Xiaofu. The most important thing now is to find him and suppress him. After a long while, Patriarch Xiang Huang finally calmed himself down. He carefully sensed the suppressive force in this world. However, it had only suppressed their cultivation and didn't cause any real harm to them. They could still use the great Tao true meanings they had grasped, and their divine abilities weren't affected too much. As for Du Xiaofu, he was only at the early stage of the virtual Tao realm. His strength was comparable to the fifth or sixth sky of the immortal realm. The three of them didn't care about this little bit of cultivation. Even if he was at the peak of the immortal realm, they could still easily kill him. It's better to be careful. After all, this world is Du Xiaofu's base. We don't know if there are any hidden experts here. Ancestor Wu Zhu's eyes lit up as he deliberated. He didn't dare to let his guard down. Du Xiaofu's strength was nothing to be afraid of, but this world was too special. No one could say for sure what could happen. That's right. Ancestor Niu Huang nodded and said, "We need to keep a low profile and not attract anyone's attention. We can't make any noise. Let's find Du Xiaofu first and kill him directly." When the other two heard this, they both agreed. Then the three of them stopped talking. They withdrew their auras and began to move stealthily. They were ready to find Du Xiaofu's specific location. They believed that as long as they were careful, they wouldn't have to worry about any accidents. Even if there were hidden experts in this world, as long as they didn't alarm them, they could kill Du Xiaofu in an instant. No one would be able to save him in time. In fact, Du Xiaofu, who was in the desolate country's imperial palace, had sensed the three of them as soon as they stepped into the divine martial world. He mobilized the Heavenly Way's energy and found out the identity of the newcomers after a brief investigation. I can't believe they've come to die. Do they want to kill me in this world? The corners of his mouth curled into a sinister smile. His gaze pierced through the void as he snorted. Chapter 2880. Du Xiaofu's eyes were cold and filled with killing intent. When he was in the crevice between worlds, it was very difficult to detect the existence of the divine martial world. Presumably, those three beast experts had followed him all the way from the supreme Changrong heaven to this world. Many of his close friends and family were here. Being exposed under the nose of the Qian Su Jinghua heaven wasn't a good thing. I was too careless. I didn't think of that. Du Xiaofu sighed softly, inwardly vexed. However, he didn't dwell on this matter. If those countless beasts wanted to find the divine martial world, it shouldn't be difficult. After all, the Qian Su Jinghua heaven was currently walking the same path as the demons. As long as Jiangchen, Dongli Qihuang, or Chen Yan told them, everything here would come to light. Since you've come, don't leave. Du Xiaofu snorted coldly again, his eyes shining with a cold light. You three are in the meditative realm. If we were in the 33 heavens, I definitely would have stayed far away from you. But since we've come to the divine martial world, we won't allow you to strut around. Du Xiaofu had long since taken control of the natural order of this world. He could mobilize the world's power to suppress those meditative realm experts. Presumably, those three were also greatly suppressed by the world's natural energy, so dealing with them wouldn't be too difficult. Xiaofu, did something happen? To the side, Du Tingxian saw that Du Xiaofu's expression wasn't quite right and asked. A few old geezers have come to throw their lives away. I'll go meet them. Du Xiaofu didn't hide anything and said directly. Then, his figure swept out of the palace and charged in the direction of those three. Experts from the outside world have come? Du Tingxian, Du Xiaojing, Du Yunlong, Yi Piaoling, and Zhen Qingchun looked at each other and saw the astonishment in each other's eyes. Other than the people from the 9 great families, in the past few hundred years, no one from the outside world had come to Shenwu world. Today, Du Xiaofu had just returned, and there were already people following him. This was obviously not right. They should be from the Qianshu Jinghua heaven. Du Xiaoyao's eyes shot out 2 bright rays of light, and a fierce aura rose from her body. I want to take a look. Little Xingxing shouted in a delicate voice, and her figure had vanished on the spot as soon as she finished speaking. Go! In an instant, Du Tingxian, Du Yunlong, Du Xiaojing, Jialo Juiyu and the others also left the desolate country's imperial palace, following closely behind Du Xiaofu. It was a mountain range that stretched on endlessly, filled with beautiful trees and lofty mountains. Row upon row of towering mountain peaks were like a divine sword that pierced the heavens and pierced the heavens. There were also steep cliffs, deep valleys, and streams scattered among them. It was extremely dangerous. This was a barren land with no living creatures living in it. After several changes in Shenwu world, it was in a corner that hadn't been explored yet. It was very far away from the territories of the major powers. However, there were many spiritual herbs and precious medicines growing here. Under the nourishment of the rich spiritual energy of heaven and earth, this place could be considered a land of treasures. That Du Xiaofu came out of this world. He was so extraordinary, and his name is definitely famous. As long as we find the place where the living creatures of this world gather, it won't be difficult to track him down. On the mountain peak, 3 old figures suddenly descended. One of them, an old man with a pair of bull horns on his head, said. This old man was ancestor Niu Huang of the Qianshu Jinghua Heaven's desolate ancient bull clan. That's right. The order of heaven and earth in this world is very different from that in the 33 heavens. Even though our cultivation base is suppressed, we can still exert the power of the peak 9th heavenly layer of immortal realm. Our speed is much faster than ordinary people's. Therefore, it won't take long to find Du Xiaofu. Ancestor Xiang Huang of the White Jade Draco Elephant clan nodded. He glanced around and said, just as he said, this world was very strange. In terms of scale and spiritual energy of heaven and earth, it was almost the same as the 33 heavens. However, the difference was that the order of heaven and earth here was somewhat special. That terrifying suppressive force restricted their cultivation base. Fortunately, their cultivation base was very profound, and they were all in the meditative realm. Even though they were suppressed, they could still use their speed. Let's go. This matter should not be delayed. If we delay, the situation will change. No matter what, we have to find that brat and kill him first. Ancestor Wu Zhu of the blue-scaled Divine Crow clan said coldly and gloomily. For them, the only goal of this trip was to kill Du Xiaofu. As long as that brat was dead, nothing else mattered. They did not dare to act rashly and alert the enemy. Even if they wanted to find that brat's whereabouts, they had to be careful and not make too big of a commotion. Let's go. Ancestor Huang Niu and Ancestor Xiang Huang nodded repeatedly. Then, they let out a clear cry and prepared to break through the void and continue their journey. However, just as they were about to move, a light voice suddenly rang in their ears. There's no need to trouble the three of you to find him. I've come myself. The voice did not sound strange at all. It was as if it was talking about the most ordinary thing in the world. However, as soon as the voice entered the ears of the three Beast Clan experts, their bodies tensed up. This voice shocked them. There was actually someone who could get close to them without making a sound, and they didn't even reveal the slightest bit of fluctuation. Most importantly, the person's words were obviously directed at the three of them. Did that not mean that their identities or purpose of coming here had been exposed? Without thinking, the three old men turned their heads at the same time and looked in the direction of the voice. However, they saw that there was no fluctuation in the void. Instead, the figure of a purple-robed young man walked out of it. Du Xiaofu. How could they not know this purple-robed young man? Who else could it be other than Du Xiaofu, whom the entire Qian Su Jinghua heaven hated to the bone? This young man left a deep impression on them. He was an existence that all the Beast Clan wanted to kill. However, they had attacked him several times. Among them, they had even used the meditative realm twice. However, they still could not take him down. Because of this, the entire Qian Su Jinghua heaven was filled with anger. Seeing the purple-robed young man appear, the three Beast Clan experts were immediately filled with intense killing intent. That's right, it's me. Didn't you come to this world to find me? Du Xiaofu walked out of the void. Facing the three meditative realm experts, he said indifferently. He did not have the slightest hint of panic that a meditative realm expert should have. Obviously, he was extremely calm and easygoing. It was as if he was chatting with several old friends. He had already seen through the identities of the three people in front of him. Tsk, brat, you actually dared to take the initiative to come to us. You're simply courting death. Great Ancestor Niu Huang recovered from his initial shock. Immediately, his face became a bit more ferocious. He said angrily to Du Xiaofu. They were just worrying about whether something unexpected would happen if this matter was delayed. Now, Du Xiaofu had delivered himself to their doorstep. Was this not no different from courting death? You old bastards really have a lot of nonsense to say. If you want to attack, then go ahead. I'm here alone. Let's see if you can really kill me. Standing in the Shenwu world and sensing the hidden connection between heaven and earth, Du Xiaofu was full of confidence. He was not the slightest bit flustered by the three powerhouses in front of him. He stood proudly in the void, facing the three meditative realm experts head-on. His face was filled with boundless mockery. Du Xiaofu, you're courting death. Great Ancestor Xiang Huang's face was filled with anger as he coldly shouted at Du Xiaofu. The three of them were one of the few existences in the 33 heavens. When had they ever been looked down upon like this? Even though Du Xiaofu had escaped from their hands several times, he could not look down on them like this. Who's the one courting death? We'll find out soon enough. Du Xiaofu's expression darkened as he harumphed. His expression remained impassive as he stared straight at the three beast race cultivators. The stench of blood is not weak. However, no matter how brave you are, you won't be able to save you today. Great Ancestor Wild Ox was slightly surprised. He did not know where this brat Du Xiaofu's confidence came from. However, he did not think too much about it. This brat was very strange, so he needed to be more careful. Kiki, Great Ancestor Wu Zhu stared at Lu Xiaofu. His expression of shock only lasted for a short while before he revealed a sinister smile. In his eyes, Du Xiaofu was already dead for sure. He said gloomily, Du Xiaofu, there's a path to heaven, but you don't want to take it. There's no door to hell, but you barge in. Last time, there were many meditative realm experts backing you up. Let's see where you can run to this time. In this world, who can save you? He sneered. He felt that Du Xiaofu's face was even more adorable now. He had actually delivered himself to them. This brat had only stepped into the Void Path realm not long ago. Compared to the three of them, he was as weak as an ant. Even if the three of them were suppressed by the world's energy, killing him would be as easy as flipping their palms. This time, without the presence of the meditative realm experts, Du Xiaofu would not be able to escape. Du Xiaofu looked at Great Ancestor Wild Ox, Great Ancestor Xiang Huang, and Great Ancestor Wu Zhu in front of him. He looked at them indifferently without much emotion. If only the three of you are here, then I'd like to say that the ones who will die in the end will be you, not me. The corners of Du Xiaofu's mouth curled up as he said with a faint smile. In fact, he was smiling even more in his heart. Not to mention these three meditative realm experts, even if all the great ancestors of the Qian Su Jinghua heaven came to Shenwu world, so what? Here he was God. He could rule over everything. No matter how many experts came, they would be able to easily suppress and kill them. After all, even his senior apprentice brother Xiaoyu was greatly suppressed by the world's energy. Meditative realm experts could not avoid this. They only had control over the Great Tao's origin energy. There was an insurmountable gap between them and the Great Tao's realm. Chapter 2881. Don't waste your breath. Just kill Du Xiaofu and end this big trouble. Old Ancestor Niu Huang shouted and didn't say anything else. His feet suddenly stomped on space, and it was like a majestic and enormous mountain was moving, causing space to suddenly explode into pieces. The entire heavens and the earth seemed as if it was tightly clenched by an enormous hand, and it shook fiercely. I wonder if there are any hidden experts in this world. Since he's here alone, let's kill him to avoid any more accidents. Ancestor Xiang Huang shouted as well. His body suddenly transformed into an enormous dragon elephant. The long elephant trunk pierced into the sky like a mountain ridge, releasing a terrifying power. Kill! Ancestor Wu Zhu shouted, his voice as sharp as a bird's cry. In just a flash, the three beasts attacked at the same time. This was the best time to kill Du Xiaofu. They didn't want to waste any more time, so they all charged at Du Xiaofu. Good. Let me have some fun with you guys. Du Xiaofu also let out a long howl. His feet stepped on the ground, and the purple gold heavenly palace appeared in his hand. He didn't use the power of heaven and earth to suppress the three beasts. Instead, he wanted to use his own strength to fight them. After their cultivation bases were restricted, the three meditative experts were only at peak ninth sky of Immortal Realm. Du Xiaofu hadn't fought against such experts yet. This time, he could use this opportunity to sharpen himself and measure the gap between him and such existences. Buzz buzz buzz, dazzling light appeared around Ancestor Wild Ox, Ancestor Xiang Huang, and Ancestor Wu Zhu. The power of the origin of laws circulated crazily, trying to transform into the origin of Great Tao. However, after a series of dull buzzing sounds, waves of terrifying aura spread out in the void. An invisible force circulated and suppressed the power of the origin of Great Tao. This was the effect of the divine martial world's laws of order. The three's cultivation bases were tightly restricted, making it difficult for them to break through the shackles of the Great Tao. Even with the power of the origin of laws, killing you is as easy as crushing an ant. Ancestor Wild Ox shouted. The ancient barbarian bull's true form appeared and charged at Du Xiaofu. Strands of law origins took form, wildly spreading out between heaven and earth. The ancient barbarian bull's body, as if it was stirring the wind and clouds in the sky. It carried the power of heaven and earth. Du Xiaofu, you're going to die today. No one is going to save you. Ancestor Xiang Huangzhu's origin of laws. Rays of light shot out from the elephant's trunk, which was also the terrifying origin energy of laws. It transformed into a magnificent brilliance that filled the sky, as if it had condensed into a real world, and it directly swept through the area. Kill! Ancestor Dark Crow, the green divines of the divine green crow. The terrifying energy condensed into a series of spinning blades that shot out. Heaven and earth. Du Xiaofu shouted loudly, his voice like a great bell. He raised the heavenly palace of purple gold high above his head. A sword projection that seemed to be able to pierce through the heavens and earth was instantly formed. This sword projection looked like a pillar of light that connected the heavens and the earth. It was dazzling and ferocious. Boundless power of laws of origins circulated endlessly within it, and it was boundlessly majestic. Although it was not as imposing as the three beast tribe elders, what was surprising was that Taoist rhymes flowed out of its body. The Taoist rhymes intertwined and formed a terrifying power. Boom! The attacks of the two sides collided. The entire world seemed to have been turned upside down. Du Xiaofu's body was violently knocked back. His body shot out like an arrow, instantly traversing thousands of miles and drawing a straight line in the sky. Boundless energy surged out wildly, destroying everything in its path. Many of the surrounding mountains were destroyed by the shockwaves and turned into dust. Along with this, the entire realm began to tremble violently. Terrifying fluctuations spread out, causing the void to shake uncontrollably. Countless creatures were startled. They didn't know what was going on, so they could only look around in fear. They wanted to find the source of the commotion. The gap between me and such an expert is still a little too big. He couldn't help but think as he was knocked back. Only after circulating the qi in his body did he manage to completely suppress the tremors. He was lucky that he had used the heaven and earth energy to resist at the last moment. Otherwise, if the three experts' attacks had hit him, even if he didn't die, he would have had a layer of skin peeled off. Moreover, the three of them had been suppressed to the peak of the ninth sky of Immortal Realm. If they could have used their full power, Du Xiaofu wouldn't have thought about using them as practice. He took it. How could this kid be so strong? On the other side, Wild Ox Forefather, Xiang Huang Forefather, and Black Candle Forefather were frightened. It was hard for them to imagine that Du Xiaofu was still alive after being attacked by the three of them at the same time. This was beyond their understanding. In fact, they knew that Du Xiaofu, who had just entered the ethereal path realm, was only at the fifth sky of Immortal Realm. In front of a ninth sky of Immortal Realm expert, he should have been trampled. However, the fact was that although that kid had been knocked back, he had withstood their attacks. This kind of situation caused the three old men to feel that it was inconceivable. Xiaofu! Brother! Dad! And very quickly, many experts who were originally in the desolate country's imperial palace, under the lead of Little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao, quickly arrived nearby. By the time they arrived here, Du Xiaofu had already turned back. I'm okay. Those old bastards can't hurt me. Du Xiaofu smiled, giving the experts a reassuring look. So many people came? When Wild Ox Forefather saw Du Tingxian, Du Xiaojing, Zhen Qingchun, Yi Piaoling, Jialo Juiyu, Little Star, and the others, he suddenly exclaimed. It seems like this world isn't that great. Besides Du Xiaofu, the strongest people are that little girl and that monkey. Forefather Xiang Huang said with a sinister smile. With a sweep of his eyes, he was able to see the strength of all the people who had come. He was able to pry into their depths. He couldn't help but laugh when he saw the situation. Originally, they thought that there would be some hidden experts in this world that would make the three of them wary. However, they didn't expect that among these people, besides Du Xiaofu and the other two, the strongest was only at the true severing realm. With such little strength, what was the difference between them and a group of clowns? The three of them had been so cautious after entering this world. Damn it! Where did these three old bastards come from? Why are they so arrogant? Sacred Array child Jin Qingchun couldn't bear to listen anymore. He glared and couldn't help but curse. These three are all beasts from the Qian Su Jinghua heaven. They've come to deliver us food. Du Xiaoyao didn't hold back at all, and a sinister smile appeared on his face. He and Jin Qingchun weren't afraid at all. One must know that this world was completely under Du Xiaofu's control. No matter how fierce those three old bastards were, they could only be tortured to death. Ignorant brat, how dare you talk nonsense here? You don't know the meaning of death. Hearing Jin Qingchun and Du Xiaoyao's words, Wild Ox Forefather, Wu Zhu, and Xiang Huang Forefather were instantly enraged. In particular, Du Xiaoyao's words hurt their hearts even more. In the past, when Du Xiaofu was in the Qian Su Jinghua heaven, he and more than 200 immortal experts killed and ate many beasts. Now that this was mentioned again, how could they not go berserk? I really don't understand. In such a strange world, the living beings are actually so weak. Wu Zhu sneered. He couldn't understand the situation. The spiritual energy and resources of this world were clearly not inferior to the 33 heavens, but the strongest person here was only in the truth-severing stage not long ago. If this was told to the outside world, no one would believe it. What's the point of having so many chickens and pottery dogs like these? A bunch of weaklings, how dare you speak such arrogant words? Since you're all here today, after Du Xiaofu dies, none of you will be able to escape. All of you will be buried with him. Xiang Huang Forefather's eyes emitted a sinister light as he spoke coldly. No matter how many weaklings there were, they were still a bunch of weaklings. In the face of absolute strength, quantitative changes couldn't cause qualitative changes. They couldn't change the outcome of their defeat. The three beasts had already decided that today, not only would Du Xiaofu die, the others wouldn't be spared either. You're the ones boasting shamelessly. At this moment, Du Xiaofu took a step forward and spoke softly to Niu Huang, Wu Zhu, and Xiang Huang Forefather. He slowly put away the purple-gold heavenly tower and looked directly at the three beasts. Dad, let's get rid of them. Don't let these three old fellows escape. Little Xingxing shouted at Du Xiaofu. If the three of them left this world, even Du Xiaofu wouldn't be able to do anything to them. Therefore, the safest way was to kill them here. They were three-seated forgetful. If they died in the divine martial world, such a huge loss would be unimaginable for the Qian Su Jinghua heaven. Since you're here, then all of you can stay here. Du Xiaofu nodded and said coldly. He no longer hesitated and raised his hands. His arms and fingers danced non-stop. In an instant, an indescribable aura appeared between heaven and earth, causing one's heart to tremble. Du Xiaofu didn't want to delay any longer. He began to mobilize the energy of heaven and earth, causing it to surge violently and suppress. The three beasts were all at the seated forgetful realm. They instantly sensed the strange changes in heaven and earth and were all shocked. This is, Niu Huang Forefather muttered. He looked around and saw a large number of invisible marks forming a huge net that came crashing down on the three beasts. Not good. This is heavenly energy. Xiang Huang Forefather shouted. He quickly understood the source of this scene and his heart skipped a beat. He was so shocked that he wanted to die. How is this possible? How can it be heavenly energy? Wu Zhu's eyes widened. He was no longer as calm as before. Under the mighty might of heaven, he was terrified and his heart was filled with endless shock. The bodies of the three beasts began to tremble uncontrollably. Not good. A moment later, Niu Huang Forefather reacted. He felt an extremely dangerous aura. Even though he was at the seated forgetful realm, he didn't dare to stay under this pressure. He wanted to escape. Whoosh! The moment Niu Huang Forefather finished speaking, Wu Zhu and Xiang Huang Forefather had already moved. They didn't dare to stay. In the blink of an eye, they turned into streams of light and fled into the depths of the sky. Du Xiaofu, I'll let you go today. One day, I'll make sure you die without a burial place. Niu Huang Forefather took one last look at Du Xiaofu and left behind a ruthless sentence. He immediately followed Wu Zhu and Xiang Huang forefather. He was really scared. His heart sank to the bottom. This sudden feeling of terror made him not want to stay in this world for even a moment longer. This place was too evil. The power of heaven and earth was surging toward them. I'm afraid you won't have that chance. A faint voice came from Du Xiaofu's mouth. This voice was like the prohibition of heaven and earth. As soon as Du Xiaofu opened his mouth, the sound of thunder and lightning filled the sky. As the sky trembled, an aura that made one's heart tremble silently seeped out from the depths of the earth and sky. Boom! The earth rumbled. At this moment, the hearts of the billions of beings in Shenwu world trembled for no reason. It was as if a pressure was seeping out from their souls and blood, making them want to prostrate themselves on the ground. Suddenly, Niu Huang, Xiang Huang forefather, and Wu Zhu, who were fleeing in the sky, felt their souls tremble. Then, the terrifying power of heaven suddenly descended and bound their bodies. The three of them were completely imprisoned by the power of heaven and earth. Under the power of heaven, their souls trembled and the space around them froze. They couldn't move at all. Xiaofu is so strong. Is this the power of the heavenly Tao? Du Tingxian, Du Xiaojing, Du Yunlong, Yi Piaoling, Chang Guyu, and the others who were watching from afar also looked at Du Xiaofu with sparkling eyes. Everyone's body froze in the air at this moment. Their eyes were filled with endless shock. This aura caused their minds to tremble, and they felt an extreme sense of danger. Du Xiaofu's purple robe fluttered. At this moment, his tall and straight body flew across the sky. With a single step, he arrived in front of Niu Huang, who was imprisoned to the point that he couldn't move at all. Looking at Niu Huang's terrified eyes, he said indifferently, "A powerhouse at the first level of meditative oblivion realm is like an ant in front of me. What right do you have to be so arrogant?" As his indifferent voice fell, Du Xiaofu pointed his finger. Several seals immediately fell on Niu Huang's body under the terrified gaze of Niu Huang. Du Xiaofu then threw the seals to Du Xiaoyao in the distance and said, "Little demon, catch. We haven't eaten the meat of this barren bull yet. We can make a delicious meal later." But Du Xiaoyao waved her hand and pulled the imprisoned Niu Huang into the spatial handprint. Her cold eyes swept across Niu Huang's body like a dead dog. And this gaze caused old ancestor Niu Huang to feel a chill run down his spine. Du Xiaofu actually didn't kill him directly. Instead, he was going to eat him? This made Niu Huang feel even more humiliated, but there was nothing he could do. High in the sky, Du Xiaofu's figure didn't stop. He calmly crossed the void and appeared in front of Patriarch Xiang Huang. Trapped by the heaven's might, Patriarch Xiang Huang's eyes were filled with horror as he looked at Du Xiaofu. No matter how hard he tried, it was useless. He couldn't break free. Facing Du Xiaofu, Patriarch Xiang Huang felt as if he was facing the heavens and earth. This Du Xiaofu in front of him was like the ruler of this world. He had never felt so powerless before. How was this facing a living being? This was completely facing the heavenly Tao. This isn't an ordinary small world. It's also not an existence like the 33 heavens. This place. All of a sudden, Patriarch Mammoth Huang's eyes flickered with astonishment as he looked over at Du Xiaofu, his pupils constricting, and his eyes flickering with shock and horror as he stared at Du Xiaofu. Then he said, I know. Du Xiaofu, you control the heavenly Tao of this world. Whether it's the myriad of magical laws or the power of the great Tao, everything is under your control. Legend has it that in this world, you can control everything. You are the ruler of this world. Congratulations. You've guessed correctly. Du Xiaofu stood quietly in front of Patriarch Xiang Huang, a faint smile on his face. Suddenly, the curve of his mouth became domineering. His eyes were indifferent as he sneered and said, Your end will be the same as that old bull. As he spoke, he mobilized boundless power and set down another restrictive spell on Patriarch Xiang Huang's body. Then, the huge white jade dragon elephant was thrown into Du Xiaoyao's hand. No. At this time, Patriarch Wu Zhu, who was bound, was terrified to death. His eyes were wide open as he watched Du Xiaofu approaching him step by step. His body trembled uncontrollably. As a powerhouse of the meditative realm, it was one thing for his strength to be suppressed in this realm, but he was actually captured and eaten as a meal. He had lived for countless years, but he had never expected such a fate. From the moment you stepped into this world, it was already too late. Du Xiaofu looked at him mockingly, not bothering to hide the sarcasm in his words. Just as Patriarch Xiang Huang had said, in this world he was the ruler, the god, and could control everything. Not to mention an expert at the meditative realm, even an expert at the Dao Bridge realm who was even stronger would be greatly restrained here. Therefore, the fate of these three was already decided. If you don't eat the delicious food that's delivered to your doorstep, you'll be struck by lightning. Du Xiaofu showed no mercy as he imprisoned Patriarch Wu Zhu. In the ears of the three meditative realm experts, these words were even more terrifying than the sound of death. Chapter 2882. The three beast race powerhouses were all in the meditative realm. Even if they did not experience the demon race's activities in the past, they were still terrifying figures who had survived from the ancient times until now. But now, all three of them had fallen into Du Xiaofu's hands and were about to be eaten. If this was told to the 33 heavens, their jaws would drop. "Boss, let's go." Du Xiaoyao became excited when he saw Ancestor Wu Zhu being subdued by Du Xiaofu. He even licked his lips in excitement. Sitting beasts from the outer realms? That's one of the strongest beasts in this world. Du Yunlong, Du Xiaojing, Yi Piaoling, Qinggu Yu, and the others were all stunned as they looked at the three captured beasts. Eating the meat of such a terrifying expert will probably bring about great benefits. A strange charm appeared on Zhen Qingquan's face as he said with a chuckle. Most of the experts gathered around Du Xiaofu and the others and nodded in agreement. Even though everyone was shocked by what Du Xiaofu wanted to do, they were still looking forward to it. The bodies of these three old beasts were very strong. Their meat must contain unimaginable energy. They were rare treasures to the people of the present age. Let's go and taste the meat of the ancient barbarian bull, white jade dragon elephant, and blue scale divine crow. Du Xiaofu smiled and said to the people around him. Then, he did not waste any more words. He flew into the sky and headed towards the desolate country. To Du Xiaofu, the attack of the three meditative beast clan experts from the Qian Su Jinghua heaven did not cause much of a commotion. However, a sense of worry arose in his heart. After all, the existence of this world was too special. News of this world might have already spread to the Qian Su Jinghua heaven. If that was the case, it might attract the attention of even more experts. He could not stay in the divine martial world forever. He still had to go to the 33 heavens. Therefore, the exposure of this world was not a good thing for many creatures. Let's take it one step at a time. Du Xiaofu did not dwell on this issue. He led everyone back to the desolate country. After that, Wild Ox Ancestor, Mammoth Brilliance Ancestor, and Black Candle Ancestor were killed one after another. Their flesh was cooked into a delicacy, steamed, roasted, fried, and stewed. It was truly a feast for many people in this world. The meat caused many people's strength to skyrocket. Some experts who were at a bottleneck immediately went into seclusion and focused on breaking through. Only Du Xiaofu didn't feel much. He was already in the void path realm now. Even though the meat of a meditative forgetfulness elite was extraordinary, after being baptized by the source energy of the great Tao, it was very difficult for him to use meat alone to comprehend more and break through. I wonder how I'll be able to smoothly advance to the next level. Retracing the Tao, transforming the Tao into the Tao, and carrying the Tao with my body. Life was peaceful. Du Xiaofu Yu Shengtian couldn't help but think about these things. His senior apprentice brother Lu Xiaoyu had told him about these three levels. If he wanted to fight the demons and resist Jiangchen, as the most important person in his senior apprentice brother's words, he would have to at least reach the Tao realm and become a Tao vessel body. It's time to take a look at the divine Thunder Mountain range. Du Xiaofu Yu Shengtian's gaze suddenly turned to a certain direction in the sky. That was where the beast region used to be. Once every 30 years, the various factions of Kyushu would hold a battle of geniuses for the younger generation. Du Xiaofu Yu Sheng Tian had participated and obtained the Purple Lightning Profound Cauldron. Dad, I'll go with you. Boss, I want to go too. When they heard Du Xiaofu Yu Sheng Tian's words, Little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao immediately spoke up. After that, Du Tingxian, Du Yunlong, Zhen Qingchun, Jialo Jueyu, and Du Xiaojing all looked at Du Xiaofu with shining eyes. They all wanted to go with him. Little Xingxing and Little Yao can come with me. The rest of you, wait outside. That's where the demon ancestor's body was sealed. It's no small matter, and I'm afraid it's hiding unimaginable dangers. We can't treat it lightly. Du Xiaofu Yu Sheng Tian said. He made the final decision. After a moment of consideration, the others also agreed. After all, Du Tingxian, Yi Piaoling, Chen Guyu, and the others had only just entered the Severing Truth realm. Little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao, on the other hand, had already stepped into the Deathless realm. Having the two of them accompany Du Xiaofu Yu Sheng Tian would be even more advantageous. The three of them didn't delay at all. They directly took to the skies and left the desolate country, heading towards the original location of the Beast region. Before long, Du Xiaofu Yu Sheng Tian brought Little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao Yu Sheng Tian to their destination. Due to the great changes in the divine martial world, the original divine Thunder Mountain range was no longer what it used to be. It had become an even more vast and majestic mountain range. However, when the three of them looked closely, they could still see some traces of the past. What kind of secret is hidden in the place where the demon ancestor's body was sealed? Du Xiaofu Yu Sheng Tian's eyes flashed as he looked at the continuous mountain range before him. Boss, what should we do? Du Xiaoyao Yu Sheng Tian walked up and asked Du Xiaofu Yu Sheng Tian. There's a strange place hidden under the mountain range. Let's go take a look first. Du Xiaofu Yu Sheng Tian could use the Heavenly Tao's power to see things that others couldn't. He discovered that under the mountain range's cover, there was a special space that didn't fit in with the other places. This space was ethereal and unpredictable. It was difficult to grasp any specific traces. Even with Du Xiaofu Yu Sheng Tian's current cultivation level, it seemed very difficult to grasp. It was also because of this that when they entered this place all those years ago, they didn't notice anything strange at all. Let's go! Little Xingxing Yu Sheng Tian shouted. Her petite body stretched out and she directly dove into the void. She disappeared from the mountain range with Du Xiaofu and Du Xiaoyao Yu Sheng Tian. In the next instant, the three of them entered another space. A giant door of light appeared before them. From the door of light, a terrifying aura surged out. It carried with it a sense of desolation, like the light of chaos shooting out. The primordial aura spread out, and it caused Du Xiaofu Yu Sheng Tian and Du Xiaoyao Yu Sheng Tian's eyes to be unable to help but move. Especially Little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao Yu Sheng Tian. They felt as if their entire bodies were about to be corroded and disintegrated by the primordial aura. What a terrifying aura! How could a place like this exist? Du Xiaoyao Yu Sheng Tian was puzzled. When they entered this place from the outside world, there was nothing unusual here at all. But as soon as they entered, they were faced with such a terrifying scene. I wonder where this door of light leads to. What terrifying thing would be behind it? Little Xingxing Yu Sheng Tian was extremely speechless. She raised her head and looked at the enormous door of light that was over 100 times taller than her, and her beautiful eyes were filled with shock. This aura is truly terrifying. Du Xiaofu Yu Sheng Tian muttered. He tried his best to suppress the shock in his heart and started to size up the door of light. He could clearly sense that the aura it revealed really had the feeling of the beginning of the world, and it seemed to bring him back to the primordial times. I can't hold on much longer. Du Xiaoyao's forehead was dripping with sweat as she spoke. Just by standing in front of the door of light, he could feel the immense pressure. It was like Mount Tai, pervasive and invading his body directly. Only by constantly circulating the energy in his body could he barely suppress it. Little Star, how are you? Du Xiaofu frowned slightly as he looked at Little Star and asked. I also feel very uncomfortable. I feel like I'm just an ant. Little Xingxing's gaze did not move. He merely stared at the tall and mighty door of light and muttered. Du Xiaofu nodded and said, "Wait for me here. I'll go in and take a look." "Boss, be careful." Du Xiaoyao nodded and instructed. "Dad, why don't I go with you?" Little Xingxing turned around and said to Du Xiaofu, "There's no need for that. We don't know what's inside. Just stay here." Du Xiaofu waved his hand. After he finished speaking, his figure flashed and charged into the door of light. Under the gazes of Little Star and Du Xiaoyao, the purple-robed young man's body disappeared in a flash. He was directly swallowed by the boundless light and disappeared in the terrifying aura of desolation. After Du Xiaofu entered the door of light, he immediately felt a powerful aura rush towards him. It was like the surging waves of the sea, and he could not help but stagger a few steps back. However, this step of retreat did not allow him to return to where Little Xingxing and Little Demon Du were. What kind of existence is this? Du Xiaofu looked back and then turned around. He could not suppress his shock. In front of him was an appearance of boundless light. He could not see anything clearly, but he could vaguely see that the boundless light had formed a huge tunnel. His entire body seemed to have sunk into a quagmire, and he could not move. "Let's go in and take a look." Du Xiaofu did not think any further. He walked along the tunnel and continued forward. Under the boundless aura of desolation, the pressure he faced increased with every step he took. It was like a huge rock was pressing down on his chest, and it was so oppressive that he could not speak. After an unknown period of time, Du Xiaofu continued forward. He noticed that the light in this space had become much brighter. He suddenly raised his head, and his gaze immediately became more and more unsettled. He constantly muttered, "What is this place?" At this moment, the space before them suddenly opened up, revealing an expanse of space. The space seemed to be chaotic and faint, bright light spread out like a huge cloud. An even more desolate, and ancient aura emanated from it. It was extremely dense. The cloud was extremely vast, so vast that it exceeded Du Xiaofu's imagination. Looking up at the huge cloud was like looking up at the vast starry sky of the universe. His mind could not penetrate it at all. Inside the cloud, there were faint shadows of the sun, moon, and stars circulating. The energy of heaven and earth gathered and diffused. There was a faint fluorescent light flickering. When it flickered, it was dazzling. At this moment, Du Xiaofu looked at the boundless cloud as if he was facing the entire universe. The vast and indescribable aura, accompanied by the desolate aura, made him want to crawl on the ground. Freeze! Under this huge pressure, a burst of aura gushed out from Du Xiaofu's body. He stamped his foot on the ground, and the entire space trembled. His body immediately stabilized and he stood firmly in the light tunnel. As Du Xiaofu resisted, something seemed to be stirred up in the vast cloud. Then an even greater invisible pressure collapsed on his body. It was as if it wanted to crush Du Xiaofu to the ground. Humph! Can a strand of aura make me crawl on the ground? In all these years, aside from my master, who else can make me kneel? Not even the heavens and earth can. Du Xiaofu shouted. Yellow light shot out from his eyes, and the power of the 4 primordial laws surged out. He firmly stabilized his body and stood firm. A strand of aura was enough to make him crawl. This caused Du Xiaofu's heart to fill with pride. In the end, he had to fight Jiangchen and contend with the demons. If he couldn't resist this strand of aura, then what right did he have to step into the higher realms of the Void Dao? What right did he have to stand at the peak of the 33 heavens? What right did he have to uncover the secrets of the divine martial world? Huff huff. However, the more Du Xiaofu resisted, the stronger the pressure became. Waves of savage, desolate, and ancient aura surged, crushing down on his body. Under this savage, desolate, and ancient aura, even Du Xiaofu's soul and blood began to tremble violently. Under this tremendous pressure, Du Xiaofu felt that it was becoming increasingly difficult for him to resist. It was as if a 10,000-kilogram boulder was pressing down on his back. Not only that, there was also the pressure from his spirit and bloodline, making it increasingly difficult for him to endure. In a short while, Du Xiaofu's forehead was covered in sweat. His body trembled, and he found it difficult to support himself. He felt as if all his bones were about to crack under the pressure. Pumph! Du Xiaofu let out a deep snort. His voice was proud and sonorous, and he would absolutely not lower his head. The majestic power of the 4 primordial laws gushed out like steel needles piercing into the void, tightly supporting his body, causing his body to be like a boulder. No matter how great the pressure was, he would never lower his head. In his heart, under this immense pressure, his blood and soul were also trembling. This made it even harder for Du Xiaofu to hold on. The pressure from his soul and blood was becoming more and more difficult to resist. At this moment, Du Xiaofu also displayed an extraordinary state of mind. He stood with his head held high and his heart was undistracted. He vowed not to lower his head and even had a rebellious heart. The greater the pressure, the stronger the rebellious heart. Qi. Just as the will to resist surged out, Du Xiaofu was shocked to discover that the immense pressure was slowly fading away. In the end, it completely disappeared. In an instant, his entire body relaxed. Compared to the pressure he'd felt before, it was like comparing heaven to hell. Qi. Just as Du Xiaofu was feeling puzzled, a huge ball of light suddenly spread out from the vast cloud cluster in front of him. There seemed to be the sun, the moon, and the stars in it, and there were stars shining brightly. This beam of light spread out from the vast cloud cluster, as if it had come from the depths of the universe, from the depths of the vast sea of stars, and from a distance of hundreds of millions of light years. As the light spread out, the huge cloud seemed to come alive in an instant. A vast, wild, and ancient aura surged and trembled, then spread out. Huff! After what seemed like a long time, but also like a flash of lightning, a huge beam of light gushed out, and then suddenly pierced through the cloud. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was finally able to see the beam of light clearly. It was really an incomparably thick beam of light, countless times larger than a mountain. It was as if a heavenly pillar was pressing down on him. However, all of this did not stop with the descent of this light pillar. High up in the sky, one after another, thick and solid light pillars suddenly formed without any interruption. Between the beams of light, they crisscrossed and weaved wantonly, like a pile of incomparably long tree materials being piled up in a mess. On each beam of light, there was a wild, desolate, and ancient aura. They gathered crazily, enveloping Du Xiaofu, and continuously pouring into Du Xiaofu's body. Under the influx of this huge force, Du Xiaofu suddenly felt himself being sucked in by a huge suction force. In the next moment, he was instantly wrapped up and directly pulled into the cloud. All of this, Du Xiaofu did not have the chance to resist. Even if he wanted to resist, he would not be able to resist such a terrifying force. In a short moment, Du Xiaofu directly entered the cloud, and then his body was in a huge white cloud. Du Xiaofu's gaze immediately focused on the air in front of him, and he was so shocked that his mouth was wide open. It was not until he had truly entered the cloud that he saw the situation clearly. He saw that the crisscrossing beams of light looked like lines, intertwining and entangling with each other, as if forming a huge net of light, directly enveloping the boundless space. Du Xiaofu's entire person was stunned, as if he had seen a great horror. It was not difficult for him to discover that under the intertwining of these beams of light, what was formed was indeed a huge net, and within it, there was a terrifying force that made one's hair stand on end. And this energy seemed to be spreading towards the boundless space with this as the center, flowing in an orderly manner, and no one knew where it was going. Why is there such an existence here? Why is this force condensed here, and where is it going? Du Xiaofu felt that his mouth and tongue were dry, even though at this time he had already broken away from the feeling of powerlessness at the beginning, and all the pressure had dissipated. However, he could still clearly feel that in front of this terrifying force, he was really not even considered as trash. If anyone went forward to touch it, they would probably be crushed into powder in an instant, and die without a burial place. This was the feeling of looking up at a tall mountain, just like an ordinary person facing an endless mountain. They only felt that the mountain was vast, and they were insignificant. And each of those huge beams of light was like a mountain. This was the power of the Great Path. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.